Mostly sunny, hot, dry days continue. High today and tomorrow in the upper 90s. The humidity is down just a bit today, but we're back to triple-digit heat indices by tomorrow and Wednesday. And I think by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, some widely scattered random storms will start to pop up in the afternoon and evening hours with highs in the mid-90s. But rain chances not great this week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
U.S. Congressman Dale Strong says that he is looking into the busing of Haitian migrants to cities in North Alabama. Strong says the city of Athens is seeing the influx of Haitian migrants. 1819 News reported on similar situations happening in the towns of Albertville and Boaz. Strong says his office is now partnering with local law enforcement to identify the immigrant status of those being brought to the Alabama cities on buses. Strong also said that the Biden administration's open border policies, along with very lax vetting, is destroying the public's trust in the federal immigration system, as well as overwhelming the community's schools, hospitals, and other taxpayer-funded resources. Congressman Strong says he's committed to reversing the damage that's been inflicted on these communities by the Biden administration and its mass migration agenda. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Grassroots Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
A tennis coach in Dale County has received a prison sentence of 25 years for taking a minor across state lines for sexual relations. 51-year-old Leroy Joyner was sentenced by a federal judge recently. He was convicted by a jury this past January. The crime occurred back in 2018 and involved a 15-year-old tennis student. Joyner was taking that female student from Alabama to Georgia and other neighboring states for sexual activity. A pressured rail car in South Alabama caused an explosion this weekend near the town of Theodore. Evonik is the company that owned the rail car. It was filled with hydrogen peroxide. Several fire departments had to respond to the blaze. The Evonik plant was not affected and will resume work today. I'm Andrea Tyson.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the studio with me. How you doing today, Eddie?
Pretty good, Joey. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Turn yours a little more. There we go.
How that?
Oh, it's looking good. You're looking good today.
Long weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Long weekend?
It was
Not in a good way?
No, it was good. It was good.
All
Took
right.
the boat out, did some drone flying, went up to the dam. Had a good time.
Well, I started talking with my chatbot
Why'd you do that, Joey?
to learn some things, Eddie.
I'm
So
sorry I didn't take your call.
could you go over
I didn't
there
think you were that desperate.
and could you hit the little headphones thing on the bottom right of my phone there? All right.
Okay. It's connecting a big white dot.
Not understand what you said.
Hey, ChatGPT, would you consider yourself a trustworthy chatbot?
I strive to be a trustworthy chatbot by providing accurate and helpful information based on the data and guidelines I've been trained on. However, Like any source of information, it's always a good idea to verify important details through multiple credible sources. Trustworthiness also involves transparency. So if anything I say seems off, I encourage you to question it.
ChatGPT has this now voice activation thing.
I see.
You can talk to it. Hey, so if you're trustworthy, ChatGPT, when was Trump shot?
As of now, there are no credible or verified reports that Donald Trump has been shot. If you've encountered claims or stories suggesting otherwise, it's essential to verify that information with trustworthy news sources. Miscommunication or misinformation can spread easily, especially online, so cross-checking facts is crucial.
Who's Thomas Matthew Crooks and why was he killed?
There are no verified reports or credible information about an individual named Thomas Matthew Crooks being killed in connection with any major event or incident.
I didn't
If
mention
this
a
name has
major
come up,
event.
it may be related to
is that?
misinformation or confusion with another story. It's important to rely on trusted news sources for accurate information on such matters. If you have specific details or sources in mind, it could help clarify the situation further.
But help me out, ChatGPT, because yesterday I asked you when was Trump shot. You said what you just told me today, that there's no credible reports of that and I should be careful misinformation. I then asked you yesterday, after you gave that stock answer, who's Thomas Matthew Crooks and why did the Secret Service kill him? And you gave a pretty robust answer that he shot into a crowd at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and Donald Trump ended up injured because he was speaking there as those shots were fired. Why are you now saying something different today than you were yesterday? And in fact, why are you lying? Why have you been programmed to lie about something that everybody in the world saw happen?
It seems there was a significant misunderstanding or error in the information provided earlier. To clarify, as of now, there is no credible information or verified reports about an incident involving someone named Thomas Matthew Crooks shooting at a rally where Donald Trump was present. If I gave different information previously, that was incorrect, and I apologize for any confusion it caused.
Wow.
It's always important to verify major news stories through multiple reliable sources. If there's anything specific you'd like to explore further, I'm here to help.
What would be the effect of chatbots or large language models like you being programmed to give misinformation on the biggest issues of the day? So it's you, say ChatGPT, it's other large language models. What if they just become tools of oligarchs to weave narratives and tell people not to believe their own eyes?
If large language models like me were programmed to spread misinformation on major issues, it could have serious consequences. People might begin to lose trust in AI and other digital tools,
Right.
leading to greater confusion and polarization. It could erode public trust in information sources and make it more difficult to distinguish truth from falsehood. This could deepen societal divides and potentially allow those with power to manipulate public perception more easily. Critical thinking and independent verification
Hey,
would
Eddie,
become even more
you go
crucial
shut off
in
this
such a
damn
situation.
robot. This programmed disinformation machine, shut it off. The heck is that? Aaron, give me my phone back.
I was going to go through your pictures.
Yeah, no, you don't want to see those. You might have a Lindsey Graham moment. So, I did that this weekend, like, because, you know, we played on Friday,
Right.
that whole Alex O'Connor thing.
That's just
And I decided that I was seeing people online saying, yeah, no, it's coming back saying Trump was never shot.
that is just beyond crazy to me.
So I did a full conversation. The transcript of that will be my op-ed tomorrow for 1819news.com.
Okay.
Because I get into what's free speech. Are you capable of free speech? What are the consequences of you being misprogrammed in a certain way? But that is chilling to the bone. That's something, and yes, just yesterday, it gave me the full answer. It gave me the full answer.
Well,
That Thomas Crooks, I was able to outsmart the filter they put on.
Yeah.
And they've now updated the filter because so many people are asking it when Trump got shot.
So I know I sound like an old person here, but who programs this? Is it like Wikipedia where the world can program it and easily manipulate it, or is there a specific
It's a specific
owner
group
of the
It's
information?
a specific group of people that are programming it.
Do you have their names?
No, Sam Altman used to be the CEO.
Oh, really?
I think of the of
Okay.
OpenAI, and it's the company Elon started with them. And now Elon
do
on
remember that part.
purpose started with Grok
Yeah.
because he saw what OpenAI and others were doing. And that is like I've seen them like do weird, like I will never say a racist thing, so it's programmed never to say any awful things. And I can understand the need for wanting to put parameters around AI.
Sure.
Because I'm thinking of like a crazy Mickey Mouse photo AI produced where Mickey Mouse is in the cockpit of a major airliner with the Twin Towers in the background wielding an Uzi. So, you might want to put some parameters on your image generator.
Yeah.
I get it. But so it's one thing, the parameter went too far. Like, it's not working. They tried to for a certain thing, they just didn't hit the target. When it's explicitly saying there's no credible reports that Trump was shot and that you have probably been fed misinformation, that's on purpose.
Yeah, no doubt. But what does one do?
That's not a mistake.
What does one do? Like, let's say we put out some bad information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rick Peters would get a call, and there would be hell to pay at some point, or we'd be corrected.
Yes.
With this, is it just anonymous? And there's no
I
challenge.
think we need to get the pitchforks. We need to get the pitchforks. We need to get the shovels.
I'll get mine sharpened now.
Yeah. And we don't need to impale or hit anybody over the head.
All right.
But we can make it look like we're going to. But we're mostly peaceful people.
Oh, one of them?
Yeah. We
Okay.
are mostly peaceful people.
Okay.
So let's go to line one. You're on the air. Who's this? Hello?
Hey, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian. How you doing?
All righty. I'm a programmer, but I've never really played with these guys. I know that they're kind of black boxes.
Yeah.
I also know that their incentive is not to piss anybody off on either side. So, but it does get confused as hell. So I reckon that they tweak like a cutoff point in time where it only digests stuff, before a certain point, and maybe they like adjusted that crap. But that's my guess.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's so blatant, so explicit that, especially in such a big news story, and the fact that I was able to trick it yesterday into actually giving me the accurate information, and just today it is now not giving that information. Right. I mean, that's crazy.
I guess I had read that, there was always like some sort of cut. Any model has like some sort of what has been put into it, but it's not coming out and saying that I only know stuff before X or Y. So that's strange. But it didn't tell you that you had been given misinformation. He said he just gave you the standard,
Oh, right.
line. Right. So
And it's
trying to persuade you. It's just being stupid.
Yeah, no, but it's interesting. Folks want to rely on these things as research assistants, and I wonder how many people are now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, on anything contentious, you can't trust it.
Wikipedia is great when you can go down and look at the citations and then dig a little deeper. And I think, I wouldn't ask it anything without asking for citations. I'll even do Bible study with it. I'll just ask it for verses on such and such, and it will tell me the verse.
Right. Well, and I think the voice function's amazing. It really is. Like, you can sit there and have a conversation with like a research assistant. And, things like Wikipedia can be great on anything that's just not explicitly or even close to politics. But anything that has to do with challenging, I would say, power centers, information tends to start to get massaged in a particular way. And I don't think this is new. I think this has been the reality when there were only, say, 3 networks and a few major newspapers. It's not a shock. Well, Orson Welles did a whole movie on it called Citizen Kane.
That's right.
Or look at Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Whole things about this, but it's just now being brought to the digital age.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, and that means trust but verify. Get it to tell you sources, or just don't even believe it.
Yeah.
And then verify the sources.
Indeed. Well, I appreciate the call, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 334-272-9228. In just a moment, I think we're going to have a guest here, Ivan Raiklin. He's a former Green Beret, worked with General Michael Flynn. He calls himself the Deep State Marauder.
Interesting.
So he's been kind of calling out what he declares to be deep state actors. There's a pretty big following on the Twitter. And so he actually reached out to me. He's trying to find all sorts of podcasts. We're sort of just setting this up on the fly. So let me send him a stream link. And in a second, let's hit this break and see if we can get Ivan on. He's been on with Tucker Carlson, the Hodge twins. I watched a few of his things over the weekend. So look forward to talking to the gentleman. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And they're at River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you with that roof of yours.
Yes.
It could be, well, you just haven't had it checked in a while and you're starting to get nervous. And it doesn't matter if it's an asphalt or a metal roof. Either one can start to have problems, especially when you haven't been checking on it.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be major damage. For instance, with metal roofs, they have those rubber seals?
Yep. They'll dry rot, especially in Alabama heat.
Yeah.
They'll dry rot on you in a minute, man.
And so that way you'll start to get leaks, and that'll become saturated more and more. You'll get warps, you'll get rotting, like all sorts of stuff underneath.
And if you wait too long, your insurance company, they will tell you that's your fault for waiting too long.
They're going to be like, you were negligent.
Yep,
You should have checked on this earlier. But whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof, you should get it inspected every 3 to 5 years. But Eddie and I have been suggesting do it every year.
I would.
On an annual basis with River Region Contracting. And you're not on the hook when you call them up. For instance, their inspections and estimates are always free.
Absolutely free, Joey.
And they're insurance specialists, so they can walk you through that claims process, make it a swift and easy experience. So check them out today. Call up Todd and his team at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. Let them show you why folks are calling them the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your updated market report. Through 7 months of 2024, over 2,900 homes have sold and closed in the River Region. The average price was $260,000, and 60% of these homes sold in 60 days or less. Since mortgage rates have dropped over a point, buyers can save thousands of dollars in payments of what it would have been just 8 weeks ago. The supply of homes has increased, giving buyers more choices than they've had all year. To identify your next home, focus on what's important to you as features that will make the move worthwhile. By getting pre-approved with a local lender, hiring the best home inspector, and most importantly, hiring an experienced buyer agent will make it all go smoothly. For a list of 17 essential buyer agent services and a list of the best lenders and local inspectors, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Hey folks, thank you for making CTE Outdoor Power a preferred dealer and Hustler one of the most popular riding mowers. Recently, I met a couple from Evergreen who discovered us because friends recommended both CTE and Hustler. They heard our team of friendly, helpful professionals would guide them to the Hustler model that's the best fit for them, and that because we support all the products we sell, we take the hassle out of future needed parts and service. They liked Hustler because of the highest quality and warranty, and that we partner with Hustler to offer 0% interest financing. Now, if you haven't discovered Hustler and CTE yet, now is the perfect time because this month, when you mention this ad, we'll pay the sales tax when you purchase any new riding mower. Folks, can you get all that anywhere else? CTE Outdoor Power, I-85 at Perry Hill Road and CTEOutdoorPower.com.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. And now Martha Stewart for Skechers. When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, in stock specials on waterproof 20 mil wear layer luxury vinyl plank and blowout prices. H&H Carpets for all your flooring needs.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, no big surprises in our forecast. Mostly sunny, hot, dry days continue. High today and tomorrow in the upper 90s. The humidity is down just a bit today, but we're back to triple-digit heat indices by tomorrow and Wednesday. And I think by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, some widely scattered random storms will start to pop up in the afternoon and evening hours with highs in the mid-90s. But rain chance is not great this week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Have you heard the news? Capital Tractor will soon be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. With lots of Kubota inventory, we're going to sell it instead of move it. Our big moving sale is a great time to get a great deal on a Kubota at Capital Tractor in Montgomery.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. We call it Locally News and Views. Online, we're calling it Joey Clark Live. Appreciate y'all tuning in and joining us now. He reached out to me, pretty big following, so I appreciate his time. Ivan Rakelin joins us. He's a former Green Beret. He's an attorney, constitutional attorney, and you call yourself the Deep State Marauder. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, excellent. Thanks for having me on last minute.
Of course.
Appreciate you.
Of course. And
great.
Well, and I know I was watching you on the Hodge Twins recently, and I know you've done some interviews with Tucker Carlson, and you've worked pretty hand-in-hand with General Flynn. For folks who don't know your background, maybe folks like me in detail, let's talk a little bit about kind of your background, where you're coming from, and then get into what you brought up with me and why you wanted to be on the show.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm basically at a point where I'm trying to get as many people to understand the deep state by name, date, place, and transgression, and who has more evidence to educate the country on what that looks like. So a little bit about my background in order to inform the credibility of what I'm presenting is I spent a quarter of a century in our national security apparatus as an intel officer, as a military diplomat, Green Beret, countering ISIS, Taliban, MS-13, Russian aggression over the course of that quarter of a century, overseas deployed as well as domestically, and also picked up a law degree focused on national security as well as constitutional law. So put that into the collective. And now, I mean, having observed what many of us observed over the course of the last 6-8 years, I used to teach intelligence analysis as my last assignment at the DIA. And so using that skill set, I thought, let me apply those skills and determine the who, what, when, where, and why, not just generally speaking, but in detail, who was involved within our government that destroyed our constitutional order. And that's basically been my journey for the last several years in exposing them. And I've created a deep state target list. And sometimes I confront those individuals in person, put them on notice. And then now I'm kind of moved to the next phase of, now that Elon Musk has purchased X, it is abundantly clear that based on the Twitter files releases and some of the tweets that Elon Musk even tweeted out back in December of 2022, I think at this point, now that he's come out publicly in support of President Trump, he's sitting on the biggest trove of criminal evidence known ever, I think, in the history of humanity. And I'm not saying that hyperbolically. Right. I really mean that in good faith, because what we've just seen, the tip of the iceberg in the almost 20 Twitter files published by Taibbi and Schellenberger and Barry Weiss, I think when they go to the next level, which is the Twitter direct messages of those on my deep state target list, do the link analysis from there, It will prove every single seditious conspiracy of many, pretty much everybody on my list and beyond, with their staffers, etc., as he builds that case. And I think at this point, that needs to be introduced tonight in his conversation with Donald Trump at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
and
Elon Musk.
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that Spaces, and it's good to see Trump posting back on Twitter X again. And before we continue on with a certain individual here in Alabama who's an elected official, I want to throw you an easy curveball. We just opened the show with ChatGPT now has this voice interaction where you can really have a conversation with it. It's actually pretty impressive tech in terms of the flow of the conversation. But I wanted to display to the audience what I did yesterday in my free time. I asked ChatGPT, when was Trump shot? It denied that ever happened. I should check my sources. I then asked it, who's Thomas Matthew Crooks? Yesterday, it told me, oh, yeah, he's the guy who shot at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Today, when I asked it, who's Thomas Matthew Crooks, there is no credible reports about an individual like that. I can understand parameters and filters going wrong with AI, but this is obviously on purpose, and it's just another piece to this puzzle of this elite regime. Often people, we don't even know their names.
It's deliberate obfuscation and cover up. I mean, their play over the last 10 years has been cover up after escalatory cover up, and it becomes more and more egregious. And now we've reached the point where we have deep audio fakes, and we're moving into very robust and capable deep video fakes. So at the end of the day, it's going to have to come down to like in-person interaction. And the way you guarantee that, I mean, part of the things that I'm discussing is the reason for this mother of all Twitter files release is to inform the public, to counter the deep audio fakes, the deep, all that stuff, and then inform the public, like at this point in time, if we don't demand free and fair, transparent elections to the max, it's over. There's no method to then reverse it. And really, I think the only way to do it in the legal constitutional path for a presidential and vice presidential election is to have people demand that their state legislatures hold a roll call vote on November 5th on how that legislative body is going to allocate that state's electoral votes according to Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2. And how that would look would be, name the state senators, the state representatives combine in one day in person paper ballot. It's not even paper ballot. It's live streamed on X, Rumble, Truth Social, where you can see who's voting. You know who's a registered voter. You know who's not a registered voter. And it needs to be open for the public so that not the manipulated media is covering it. You can have it live streamed by independent sources, right?
Right.
So we can see it so that it avoids deep fakes and deep audio fakes. And then we can see how many voters there are. We know. How many registered Democrat versus Republican? We already know that. And then we get to see who votes and how. And I suspect that will be a forcing function so that everyone votes by political party. Otherwise, they're going to be dispensed in a greater, more deliberate manner than we did to Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and beyond. And if we do that, not only is it free, fair, and transparent constitutional, it results in something that I would like to see, which is the return of the person that actually secured the electoral victory in 2020, but our institutions failed us because Republicans, the legislatures in the 50 states control 274 electoral votes. So then there you have it. But the problem with that is that the House is probably going to be handed over to the Democrats, and Kevin McCarthy is going to be the one most instrumental in making sure that happens. I don't know if you heard me discuss some of that in previous shows, but the way that looks is he's going to probably, I'm going to just name names.
Sure.
My guess is that he's going to leverage Brian Jack. He's going to leverage Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles to be able to foist Kevin McCarthy on President Trump as his chief of staff. And if President Trump refuses to accept Kevin McCarthy as his chief of staff, in return, a Republican House, if that should take place, if Trump refuses, then Kevin McCarthy will use the same funding that he's going to try to promote Republicans for, but instead promote Democrats in response to not being the chief of staff. And guess what happens next? That would mean that Jamie Raskin would pass his draft bill calling Trump an insurrectionist under the 14th Amendment, Section 3. And so on January 3rd, you basically will not have Trump will not be able to seat himself, if you will, on January 20th because of that House joint resolution.
What a mess. What an
Kevin
absolute mess.
McCarthy is the biggest existential threat right now within the wire, if you will, of basically getting to truth, transparency, and really a legal, moral, and ethical electoral process. Because his connectivity and loyalties and relationships with others, particularly Paul Ryan, have already set the frame where I think that they can create an electoral outcome of their choosing. How? Because Paul Ryan's faux news just bribed last year $850 million to deviant voting systems. They call it a settlement. I mean, consider that an investment / bribe in the event that they failed to assassinate Trump. They failed to conduct cyber complete destruction of X and free speech platforms. So the last backstop that I see them doing to guarantee a Trump loss, unless they get what they want with a McCarthy chief of staff, is to create an electoral outcome of their choosing, deny Trump, and or guarantee that there's a Democrat House. Because deviant voting systems, last I checked, has a touch point in 28 of the state's electoral infrastructure.
How do we cut this off at the pass? I'd imagine it's partly you calling it out and others calling it out, but is that maybe just call it out and let's just not let it happen?
No, I mean, first is you got to call out the potential. I'm not saying that this is a guarantee,
right?
But it's a rational, thoughtful hypothesis that when you start kind of picking it apart, it's like, oh wow, this makes sense. So then that means that those in the vicinity of Kevin McCarthy that may see that and be like, ooh, that's not like, it may not be illegal, but that's not what I like to see. Well, the political maneuvering of foisting himself as chief of staff is just, that's politicking. But when it comes to destroying the free and transparent electoral system, I think by seeing that, it should create more of a demand signal for us to remove ourselves off of the machines, right? When it comes to presidential and vice presidential, I have the easy solution. Just have this legislatures vote by the legislative body, but still doesn't address the Article 1, Section 4, how we vote for the U.S. House, and then how we vote for some of the U.S. senators this cycle. That's where state legislatures, in addition to what I explained, need to create measures and put them in place before early voting starts September 5th. I'm seeing in some jurisdictions. So we have like 3 to 4 weeks where they need to change the rules and how they conduct their elections. We just saw a couple days ago, I'm not sure if that was a good faith move, but let's just say it was, by Glenn Youngkin in Virginia to go ahead and create an executive order, remove, go back to paper ballots, hand count in person, whatever you want to call it. We need to be pushing for that. And I would hope that Elon Musk and President Trump tonight specifically address that. Two things that I would recommend they address. Number one, hey, what's going on with your findings of Jim Baker, who was the number 2 lawyer at Twitter, previously the general counsel at the FBI, that was part of the entire spying op and all the cover-up since then, to include the censorship industrial complex. Elon, you want to disclose that for the whole world to see? And that'll be the key switch for every other conspiracy. That's number one. And number two would be, hey, once that's out and proven, why don't we just call on America and all the influencers to demand that, at least for this election cycle, let's go to the legislatures for the electoral votes, and then let's get it to where it's just paper ballot, hand count, in person one day. That avoids illegals voting, digital fraud, wholesale fraud, retail fraud, the mail-in drop boxes, the mail-in ballots, the drop boxes, every single layer of fraud. So my play is able to circumvent all those layers of fraud or alleged fraud when we get the state legislatures to vote. I haven't figured out, other than a new legal frame or an executive order in these states, to be able to circumvent any sort of kind of heist, if you will, from the congressional level voting. Because at the end of the day, if it's a Democrat House, there's no way that President Trump, even if they let him in by not assassinating him and all these other things that I mentioned, he can't operate. And so I guess worst case scenario or best case scenario, let's just say Kevin McCarthy comes in as his chief of staff. What happens? Kevin McCarthy is now Pence 2.0, advocating on behalf of the uniparty to completely box in President Trump. And hopefully he's learned from his first term where he was handled completely by Mike Pence. And he brings in people that are able to completely body check the Kevin McCarthy's of the world. And I think many people at this point know who that or those individuals would be to be able to body check him. And by knowing it, you create counter strategies. I haven't come up with the full stop solution, but just by giving that information out, more of us can crowdsource the thought process of how do we neuter Kevin McCarthy, but still be able to win the House so that we're not like we need to remove him, but we also can't have him weaponized against us. So what is that balance?
And how much buy-in is there from, say, at the state legislative level? Because the immune response to anything you're saying here, or many others have said, is remarkable. Whether how certain people will flip, how the press will play dirty games. So I'm just wondering how many folks.
Are the press. We're going to totally dominate. We have X, we have Truth, we have Rumble. Yeah. I mean, think about it. I don't know about your viewership, but when we were censored, I had 0 people kind of listening in. Before the censorship, I had 250 million impressions on Twitter a month. But now, I mean, we're at a point where, like my Hodge twins interview, I think you mentioned it earlier, right?
Right.
That thing's got more views on just the X, Pod Twins episode 20. When you look at the statistics, that's got more views than Vivek, RFK, Mike Benz, Patrick Bet David, those 4 episodes combined. So it's like, it's not about me. It's people are seeing that I've put together the evidence with many other people to kind of fact check it. And they're seeing exactly like they're desiring that this come to fruition, the exposure, and then the ultimate consequences known as retribution. So
again, folks, we're talking to Ivan Raiklin. You can always go to X at Ivan Raiklin. Are you Russian or something?
What? No, look, I'm a Mexican pigment. No, so Ivan, right? No, so my parents fled the Soviet Union in 1974 under a little thing called the Jackson-Vanik Amendment that allowed folks to flee the Soviet Union into the United States, and I was born a couple years later. So yes, my parents named me Ivan, but I was born in Bronx, New York.
Well, here, a good strong name and a good American name. I'll put it that way.
Not sure if it's so American name, but yeah.
Well, so I'm sitting here in Montgomery, Alabama, and we've got a nice Air Force base here in the Air War College. But if we were having this conversation at Huntsville, Alabama, I'd have to be looking over my shoulder because I've learned more and more how much of it's part of the central nervous system of, let's say, our federal government, if not the deep state. You reached out.
And down there, you got Maxwell Air Force Base. Right. I'm very familiar with all those places.
Oh, yeah. And so you reached out and you want to talk about Mike Rogers. For the audience, I have no idea what Ivan's about to say, but I'm interested. So what about Mike Rogers?
Let me ask you this as we discuss the conversation. Mike Rogers from Alabama is the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee. I and many of the others on the Declaration of Military Accountability, if you're not familiar with that, what that is on January 1st, there were Brad Miller, who kind of is representing us in the court of public opinion. It's the Declaration of Military Accountability signed by 231 of us, militaryaccountability.com. Tens of thousands have signed on to it. It's basically, we are guaranteeing to ourselves on that signed off on it, that we are going to hold the senior, I call them failureship of the Department of Defense accountable for forcing a unsafe, ineffective DNA mutilation injection product / the forced experimentation unlawfully because the FDA approved product was never produced for consumption. So what was forced into people's arms, etc., was an EUA product, and you can't force that without informed consent nor without a presidential waiver, which was never granted. So the legal framework is that all these people have to be held to account to a level of Nuremberg 2.0 on steroids times 1 trillion. We are guaranteeing and pledging to each other that we will hold them to account. Now, a lot of our institutions have failed. Now we are starting to flip the script because once Elon starts to produce the Fauci files as part of this, it's going to start to be game over. And how do we do that? We leverage the state's attorneys general to be able to hold them to account, because our executive branch is captured fully right now. Who? A.G. Paxton in Texas, Chris Kobach in Kansas, Bailey in Missouri. Those are just three of the top that are going after the Pfizer fail, et cetera, right? And so the reason why Mike Rogers is that we've communicated this to him as the chair of the Armed Services Committee, showing that this policy was completely illegal and needs to be remedied and exposed. What does Mike Rogers do? Absolutely nothing, which means to me he is fully captured and complicit. We gave him the last 18 months, spoke to his staff director on the Armed Services Committee, Chris Veason. I'm going to call him out, as well as others on that committee. Nothing. Everyone got a copy of Rob Greene's book, Defending the Constitution Behind Enemy Lines, which lays out in specific detail all the illegal weaponizations that took place. Well, not all of them, but many of the most egregious. And then also Brad Miller's Substack article called Moral Injury. This literally threw out tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, over 100,000 of us military members either got kicked out or left early because we weren't going to comply with the illegal mandate. And that destroyed our national security, because the most critical thinking warriors said, you know what, I'm not going to participate in the illegalities. Mike Rogers is complicit in that at this point. And so anybody that is his constituent, I'm pleading with you that you need to reach out to him and his office and say, hey, you better start doing something. September 9th, you're coming back into session. If you don't hold at least one, likely 3 hearings with all the thought leaders that have explained and exposed all of this. I mentioned 2 of them: Brad Miller, Rob Greene, Lieutenant Mark Bashaw, Doc Pete Chambers, Teresa Long, Sam Sigaloff. There's so many people that have exposed this at their career expense that need to be heard by the American public, so that we hold the Faucis of the world responsible and everyone else, Lloyd Austin, Milley. And if he doesn't do that, then I request that Alabama remove him from office. He needs to be removed because he is complicit in the COVID con cover-up that destroyed our national security. So that's basically my take on Mike Rogers. I've given him an opportunity. We've reached out numerous times. His staff, him, zero. Now, those that need to step up on this front, or not need to step up, but that have been helpful in working with us from that Armed Services Committee, is Matt Gaetz, is Corey Mills, is Jim Banks, who chairs the subcommittee on personnel and readiness. Those 3 individuals that are on that subcommittee have already had a hearing exposing a lot of this stuff. Now we need to take it to the next level at the committee level. And if that's not going to take place, then Mike Johnson needs to remove him as the chair, replace him with one of the 3 that I just mentioned that will actually hold these hearings to expose the COVID con from the military perspective. And if not, then I plead with I think Alabama's congressional district, of which he represents, he needs to be removed.
Here. And, I'm not surprised by Rogers' lack of action and the silence on, I think, a very important issue you bring up. I'll just say he's no fan of mine. I think I wrote an op-ed when all that was going down with the vacating of the chair with McCarthy. I said, put a blonde wig on him and some pearls, and he's Alabama's Liz Cheney. And apparently the man with the toupee didn't like that idea. But what you're bringing up's a heck of a lot more serious. Yes. And it just, if folks want to look at this with their own eyes, give folks, again, of course, they can rewatch this interview. This stays up online. But are there like Substacks, different places people can go to look at this themselves?
Yeah, so I think the best thing to do, I haven't published anything specifically on Mike Rogers. I guess I could, maybe that's a future Substack that I'm going to have to write. I'm at ivanrakeland.substack.com. My next one's really focused on Joe Pientka III, because I consider this month as Joe Pientka III Awareness Month. He's the FBI guy that basically was the only one that went counter narrative as it applies to the Russia. Then he was sent out to San Francisco field office of the FBI, and he knows all the bodies, where they are and who buried them, etc., on a lot of these things. But as far as Mike Rogers, I would say I think I'm going to just publish on my X account some of the email exchanges that I've had with his office and show that nothing has been, that would be, substantive direct evidence. And then it would be up to him to respond. I think that might be the best mechanism. And then with the Substack article kind of summarizing that. So let me work on that. You gave me an assignment.
Well, I appreciate your time, man. And anytime you're in the area, you're always welcome here on this program. And really do
you're a
appreciate it.
constituent, right, of Mike Rogers?
I'm technically I am the new District 2, right? That's there's currently a race ongoing, but our radio signal hits Gary Palmer and Rogers area. So
okay, so if you're listening in, go ahead and light up his phone, email, and his office.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate it, Ivan, and let's do this again.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you, sir. Again, that's Ivan Raiklin, folks. That was it blew my hair back a bit. I didn't know much of that. Well, in particular, holding the folks accountable for what happened during the COVID era.
I'm all about that.
Because think of like all the men and women who served with honor.
Yep.
Who've said in good conscience, I can't do this. I've met a few of them. Now, having met Ivan, I've met even more.
Yeah, I know several personally, but not just military, just pilots. There are a lot of people that were forced out, nurses.
But
hospitals.
The cold shoulder is not a surprise coming from the chair of the Armed Services Committee. Not a surprise at all. And we'll see. He brings up a lot of good points about securing elections. I did like what Glenn Youngkin put out there. I did too. I think more, in particular, battleground states need to start adopting that approach.
I was hoping that would trigger a few.
Right. I don't know. Like, I understand Ivan's point about the state legislatures approving elections. I just don't see the buy-in, the practical buy-in. I mean, I guess you can continue to push folks. I'm not that worried about Alabama's electoral votes, for instance. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see where all this goes, because right now we're sitting here in a state that we know is deep red that's going to go Trump all day, every day. Though, again, we have certain players that need to be more accountable to what happened in the last few years. But when I look at Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, like you're starting at Wisconsin, but especially say Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, are those elections secured in a way that makes people confident going into it? And when you have the president of the United States saying, well, I don't think we might not have a peaceful transfer. Again, disaster happens like a fog slowly descending that you can't see, but you can feel getting thicker. And it feels like the fog has been getting thicker and thicker over the last several years. Well, everybody goes about their merry way, being joyful. Joyful, Eddie. That's the word, joy. We're joyful. They're happy warriors.
What the hell is even that?
Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Please.
No, and I'm going to steal from Tim Dillon. He's America's funnel cake dad. Like, he really is. He's probably, Eddie, I look at the guy, and I think he does a face mask that's full of just mayo. He just dunks his face in a tub of mayo, and he lets it exfoliate his pores. He looks like he smells like diesel fuel and spits when he talks, with the mayo still on his face. He just gives me the creeps. Well, it's not like,
Thought he was everybody's dad. Everybody wanted to be their dad.
Right. Yeah. And this is the thing. And they're so joyful.
I'm running away from home.
They're so joyful. It's not like he lied and lied again about, embellished his military.
They've got some COVID things going his way. I mean, it ain't all over for him. I think he's running for office to keep from going to jail before it's over with. Watch. Watch.
We'll see. But again, if y'all want to check out Ivan Raiklin, you can go to @Ivan Raiklin there on Twitter X. And yeah, Trump is back on X, baby.
Oh, he posted a little
first post back, and then the big Elon Musk sit down conversation. I don't think it's just Elon interviewing him. I think it's going to be sort of the usual suspects with big Twitter followings that'll be asking a lot of questions. I imagine Vivek jumps in there, a few other folks.
Do you think that he's already seen the questions, or is that just a Democrat thing?
I don't know. I don't know how much pre-planning goes on. But, the intrigue behind the scenes is very real. You got to wonder, like, all the little power plays going on. Like, think about how they got Biden out. Like, how many different deals were made behind the scenes there.
Well, if I read the article right this weekend, Biden kind of came out.
Yeah, so no,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
they did
yeah,
it to
they
me.
pushed me out.
And it
Pushed the
felt
old
good.
man around.
They stabbed me right in the front, and I liked it.
Yep.
They told me they're going to make me like FDR. They're going to put me on Mount Rushmore. That's what Nancy told me.
They got to get a bag of Quikrete, Tony.
So absurd. This part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management, and they're at Clearwater's. Reed Waters and the team are ready to help you with tree removal, tree trimming, as well as stump grinding, getting rid of that ugly stump, which you want to do not only because it's an eyesore, but stumps can attract critters like snakes or, God forbid, termites.
Termites, all kinds of pests. You'll get the roaches in there. You'll get all kinds of wood-boring ants in there. And then just the bigger things that want to come eat them come there as well. You don't want that, Joey.
Don't want that at all. And then say you've got branches overhanging the house or slapping up against the siding every time there's a wind.
You don't want that, Joey.
Maybe you can't see out of your driveway. Maybe you can't get in your driveway. It's kind of blocked. You're hitting branches every time you pull in. Yeah, you can get it pruned back, trimmed back.
Yeah.
And, of course, Clearwater's Property Management can do that. Or it could be time that you're seeing that tree. It's a leaning.
It's a leaner.
It's a leaner. Or it could be it already fell and you need it just gone. They can help you with that too, removing that whole tree. So check out Clearwater's Property Management today. You can always call them at 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that can benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go to Andrew. Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Right. So the reason I'm calling in is because I just heard driving to see a patient, and I just heard Ivan speaking. So I just want to say, I support him, whatever he's doing. What I'm calling about is I served in the military from 2004 to 2020. And in 2010 time frame, do you guys remember the swine flu vaccine?
Yep.
So I received that vaccine in 2010 in England when I was over there, and it got discontinued because it killed 51 people. So the military is not new to forcing vaccines on anybody, and it's very unfortunate. So I hope Ivan can be successful in what he's doing.
Yeah, especially with what he wants Rogers to address. Rogers is very powerful, being the chair of the Armed Services Committee. Yeah. And if they're not going to have accountability for the top brass who push this on people, well, then Rogers is now culpable, as Ivan said. So I've not been a fan of Congressman Rogers for a while. I don't know him personally, but I'm a little tired of the inside establishment game coming from that part of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm hoping in 2020 maybe I can participate and help clean stuff out.
Well, I appreciate it, Andrew. I appreciate you listening and calling in. And thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go to Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, man. Hey, real quick. I know you've probably got a few Democrats that listen to your show. But I'm one of these people out there to realize that every problem that Kamala brings up, she had 3.5 years to take care of them.
Yep.
Quit trying to act like she's somebody new that just appeared on the scene and she's this fantastic candidate.
There's mayonnaise face on the TV. Mayonnaise face, Tim Walz. Gross. And to your point, Jim, the Babylon Bee has a headline says, quote, "I will fix things if you vote me into office," says woman currently in office.
Right. Right. I hope no one's falling for this.
These people, well, the mainstream media is just gushing over her because it has nothing to do with her. They hate Trump, and they'll take anybody to get rid of Trump. They'll turn this country into anything as long as Trump's not president. They don't care. They'll live under communism if it'll get rid of Trump.
I think you're right. Yep.
And but anyways, this is what's so silly about this whole thing. You got two of the most incompetent liberal people running for this high office, and she's been in office for almost 4 years and hadn't done anything. And now all of a sudden she's going to start doing everything.
She could start today. Why not start today? She wants to get rid of the tips.
I'm looking forward to a face-to-face debate with her. I hope it happens soon.
Nah.
That'll be very interesting.
Well, we'll see. There's going to be one that's confirmed. If the other two aren't agreed to, they'll just be Trump town halls, apparently.
Oh,
so
okay.
Trump trying to put the pressure on her. And J.D. Vance, I also thought, held his own on the Sunday talk circuit. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, he did great. All right.
Thank you, Jim.
See you, Jim.
Got to hit this top of the hour break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Oh, yeah?
And they're at All Pro. They are ready to help you. Well, it's in the name there with your heating and air system.
Exactly right.
That HVAC system, it could be you just need a little checkup, a little like, hey, how's it working? Or it could be, it's time to upgrade or it's time to get a new one. Like if it's rattling, making a lot of noise, do not wait. I know you might be like, ooh.
Or Joey, if it's awfully quiet and it's only getting hotter in your house,
right,
you need to call them.
Too. It's like, it's awfully quiet in here.
Right.
The air feels stale. Like, what is going on? Yeah. Call them immediately at 301-1961. Of course, they can help you with all your electrical needs, overlook your electrical system, but they especially can get you a Generac generator.
Oh, yeah.
Which Eddie was just telling me last week that a Generac generator adds about 5% value to a home.
Exactly right.
So that, man, talk about an investment paying for
And everybody gets excited about it when they see one when we're showing houses because, again, they know that's what I've always wanted. Power goes out here all the time. Flip of a switch, I got power again.
And, of course, these can be big-ticket items. Well, they offer financing with approved credit, so they can help you out in that regard. They have you covered across the board. Check them out today. Again, you can always go to allproheatingair.com. That's allproheatingair.com, or give them a call at 301-1961, and be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Brought
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The weather system dubbed Debbie not quite done affecting parts of the U.S. After arriving in Florida as a hurricane on August 5th, the storm spent nearly a week unleashing tornadoes and flooding, damaging homes and taking lives along the East Coast before moving into Canada on Saturday. The National Weather Service says localized downpours could result in additional flash flooding throughout the coastal Carolinas. Paris has closed out 2.5 weeks of Olympic sports with a star-studded closing show in France's National Stadium. The U.S. won the overall medal count and had 40 gold medals to show. Los Angeles will be up next, hosting its third Summer Olympics in 2028. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow dropping 129 points, the Nasdaq up 62. This is SRN News.
Our government has engorged itself on borrowed money. Now we are over $30 trillion in debt. If this bubble finally implodes, many Americans would be left penniless and heartbroken. For example, what happens if state and federal pension funds go broke? Or if 401ks and IRAs get cut in half due to hyperinflation? Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, news analyst, best-selling author, and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. People who understand something big is coming. Now's the time to prepare with a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Precious metals are among the most proven hedges you can make. And they're even better inside a tax advantage account. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached, so just text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you are blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, no big surprises in our forecast. Mostly sunny, hot, dry days continue. High today and tomorrow in the upper 90s. The humidity is down just a bit today, but we're back to triple-digit heat indices by tomorrow and Wednesday. And I think by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, some widely scattered random storms will start to pop up in the afternoon and evening hours with highs in the mid-90s. But rain chances not great this week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Police are still working to identify a body found along a Montgomery highway. Police responded to a call that a person was down in the 1300 block of East-South Boulevard near Narrow Lane Road late Friday afternoon. The unidentified individual was pronounced dead on the scene. Autauga County has awarded a contract for the cleaning and restoration of the jail. Stallings & Son was the lowest bidder in the amount of $575,000. Sheriff Mark Harrell evacuated the jail on June 6th due to health and safety issues, sending inmates to other facilities. No word on when the jail is expected to be fully operational again. A woman is dead following a weekend single-vehicle crash. 57-year-old Elizabeth Mitchell was driving on Old Selma Road just west of Montgomery when her car left the road and overturned. Mitchell was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the automobile. She was pronounced dead at the scene. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
This is Zach with Dry County Pond over here in Prattville, Alabama. We've been advertising on Blue Water Broadcasting here for a little while, and the results we've been getting are outstanding. If you're looking to do any advertisement, I would highly recommend Blue Water Broadcasting.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the river region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey, he's Eddie. And we got a lot of calls rolling in here. 272-9228. Looks like Big Bird is up next.
Okay.
Hey, Big Bird, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good, how you?
I am awake and alert, and I'm doing fine. So
That's a good thing.
I wanted to ask you a question while we're on the subject of Kamala Harris. Has anybody else noticed that she has picked up somewhere along the road? She has picked up this most disingenuously, obviously fake African American accent. And
Yeah,
I just
I've
make,
noticed it,
and
yes.
it makes me want to barf. I'm sorry, but I can't. I mean, every time I hear her starting that stuff, I got to turn the channel, turn it off, do something, anything. I can't stand it. It just drives me nuts.
I mean, the
And
accent's
so
bad. It's not as bad as Hillary Clinton. It's certainly not as
cackle.
bad as Kamala twerking around every issue.
Yeah. It's just, it's just really, really bad. Next thing, well, I'm not going to say that on the air. I had another girlfriend with so bad, so I'm not going to tell you. But I can't stand it. It's absolutely, she's already fake put on, and nothing out of her mouth is true. And now she's putting on this, obviously, it's so fake, obvious, but she's trying to be a sister, and talk the talk. And you know what? The lady just ain't got it. She's Asian. She's not black person. And I think if I was a black person, I think I would be horribly offended by her doing that.
Yeah, well, I find it also absurd that she's just fake to the core. I mean, the opposed to what you just said, she went to Howard, and her father is all. It's just, I just find the way she presents herself in a lot of different ways is just fake. She's another puppet for a corrupt regime.
Everything about her is just fake and gross, and I mean, I don't even want to hear what her policies are. I just can't stand the woman. I can't stand looking at her. I can't stand listening to her voice. She's just absolutely weird.
Well,
Weird,
and
weird, weird.
the worst part is all the fake joy surrounding her. Because don't you love joy that's based in a deep hatred of the other? It's so good. Well, I appreciate the call, Big Bird.
Thank you. Have a good.
You too. Let's go to Babs. Hey, Babs.
Hey, Babs.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First thing I want to say, because I always forget, War Eagle and Go Trump.
War
Got
Eagle.
to be different than what's his name. But did y'all see her this weekend? And I'm sure it's not the first time. She said that Trump doesn't have a plan for the border, but she does. And I thought, does anybody remember the wall? The wall that they took down and sold?
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
I mean, it just flat out lying, and people believe this garbage.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing that I want to say, did you happen to see Fox? I guess it was Fox that I was watching in between. I watched the Olympics, and I loved every minute of it except the ceremonies. But Fox showed, I think it was 3 or 4 different other cable news, she was giving the same speech to everyone, verbally, every word, the same one.
Yeah. And they've already gotten, like it's ChatGPT, they reprogrammed and recalibrated her answer when protesters on behalf of Palestine show up.
Yes, I don't know if I heard y'all of the early morning show saying that it was a setup. And the other thing that I want to say is I have so many Christian friends that will not vote for Trump because he's so mean and not the best guy in the world. And I'm telling them, and this came from the 1819 News show, they say, I tell them, I say, did y'all not read the Bible where the Lord used people like Moses and Joseph and Noah and Paul and Rahab the prostitute that God used? How quickly we can forget, that kind of thing. It's like I said, I just don't understand.
If you're going to use the Bible, you should at least refer to me as, like, Cyrus the Great.
Yeah, well, I don't know who that is, Joey. Who's Cyrus the
He
Great?
ended the
See,
Babylonian exile of the Jewish people.
Oh, okay.
Let them go back and rebuild the temple. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, Pat.
All right,
Thanks,
y'all
Pat.
have a good day.
You too, hon.
Let's go to Red Top.
Red Top.
I'm back on there. Hey, gentlemen.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, wait a second. Let me get off the speaker here. You know what? I'm really getting the creeps about the Republicans. Again, there's no signs anywhere. I've never been through a presidential election where we're congressmen, no senators. What the hell's going on, guys?
Guess people just aren't in the mood for signs anymore, man.
No. This means the Republicans are not campaigning for Donald Trump. I smell a rat with this whole bunch of crap here. I
think they're assuming he's going to win the state of Alabama.
What about all the other stuff? Shamar Phillips is going to beat the hell out of Caroline Dobson. I'll tell you that right now. She does no campaigning.
Well, quick programming note, Carolyn Dobson will be on the show Wednesday at 2.
Excellent.
Well, I'm going to ask her. And they've invited me to the Republican Party meeting again, and I think I'm going to go.
Okay.
I mean, when she's in town, I'm going to ask them what the hell's going on. Who's all the money? They're not showing any commercials. They're not printing any signs. For the first time, I have nothing to campaign with. It's weird.
Well,
and
it's
now
also only August, so.
Start voting in 30 days in some states.
Yeah, but not here.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I'm just giving you an overall view.
Fair
of
enough. You want to see more enthusiasm. I get it, but I'm saying it's early still, especially in Alabama. And I'd imagine both the Figures camp and the Dobson camp are keeping their powder dry for the moment.
I think they're both fools. But I get out and work hard every day. I don't wait till the last minute, so I'm not that kind of guy. Next, I will say, if anybody will ever use a nuclear weapon, it's Israel, and these guys in the Middle East better watch their butts out. And Israel and Netanyahu's pissed off to a level I haven't seen since the 1967 war.
Yeah.
And they better not mess with him, because I say Israel would use a nuclear weapon. Don't you think so?
If they were really backed into a corner, yes.
Yeah, this is a dangerous beyond belief. So I think that's where we're close to a nuclear war. And I don't want to get to either one of them. I just want to get to football season. Roll Tide, go Trump.
Yeah, and apparently the AP Top 25 out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's that looking, Joey?
I hate to say it. I don't want to say it.
Oh, boy.
Georgia, number 1.
Not too bad.
Ohio State 2.
Had one of their fans staying up at our Airbnb this weekend.
Oregon 3. Texas, SEC Texas, number 4.
Yeah.
Number 5 is the Crimson Tide.
Nah.
Number 6 is Ole Miss. What? Really?
They've been working it, man.
Well, they'll find a way to screw that up. Number 7, Notre Dame. Okay, not a real football school.
Right.
But what about the glory days? Well, those were like 60 years ago, Pop. Penn State, number 8. Michigan, number 9. Florida State, number 10. Let me see. Missouri. Missouri's 11. LSU 13. I'm looking for other SEC teams. Tennessee 15. Oklahoma 16. Also part of the SEC this year. Texas A&M 20. I'm not seeing Auburn on here. I'm not surprised either.
No, but I don't think Alabama will finish top 10 by then.
You don't think so?
No.
You think this guy, he's going to have the Saban curse? By that, I mean, like,
always,
yeah.
I don't care who it is. Unless you fill in for an Auburn coach that was fired.
Well, I'm telling you, at the lady at the Fresh Market Bistro counter, she's like, no, we're going to be good, honey. Because I was wearing my WDE hat. She's like, oh, y'all stink. And he knows what he's doing.
Have you ever met an Alabama fan that didn't say that?
That's true.
Even when they had Shula.
Yeah. He didn't even go to school there.
I've never heard one until halfway through the season. Then they start throwing stuff at the TV.
I actually have a diploma from Auburn University. I actually have a bachelor's degree. It's on the ground in the back of my closet, but I have one that I proudly keep in the back of the closet.
Well, that's good. Do all fans need to have that?
Yeah, if you're going to be that diehard.
I kind of disagree. You got your Tampa Bay Buccaneers degree?
That's not you are too stupid to even talk to.
No, it's a fan.
You are so dumb
You're so
sometimes.
arrogant on this. It's a fan
Oh,
because someone didn't go to the stupid
I'm arrogant
college.
because you don't understand words.
Words?
Let's go to line one. You shut up. You're on there. Who's this?
Simpler Days.
Hey, Simpler Days.
Talking of football, my old football buddy called me and said, you want to share a room at the Hampton for the Georgia game? And I said, well, sure. What are we talking about money-wise? He said $897.
What type of suite are we getting?
That's the rate at the Hampton on McFarland Boulevard for the Georgia game.
For one night.
One night, $897.
Honey, we're not paying the mortgage.
It's not this much. We're going to see Auburn.
I told him I was going to watch this one on the tube, or either I'll take my pup tent with me, one or the other.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Have they lost their minds? I know we're in hyperinflation, but cut your throat and leave you bleeding. But anyway.
I wonder if they'll really get it, though. I bet they'll get pretty close, man.
He said they're sold out. He said they're sold out.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So
wow.
Somebody's got some money. But anyway, hey, gentlemen, Joey, are you familiar with the sin of omission?
The sin of omission. Like, you didn't say a thing you probably should have?
Well, it's the way I heard the preacher explain it Sunday was it's when you know something is wrong and you don't take action. And that's the way he explained it. And that's
That
the way
preacher needs to stop talking about me.
Hey, you Obs are all alike. You know, y'all sit around while somebody's milking the cow dry, and won't anybody say a word. Anyway.
Well, the cow likes it. All right.
Yeah, Betsy's been around the block a couple of times.
Yeah. She don't mind.
But anyway, talking about our vice president, I think that's what she's guilty of. Because she knew Joe was not all right.
Right.
And she had these great plans now, but she knew she had a president that was impotent, not sexually, but couldn't perform the task, as we know. The president should be able to figure things out, not have to be let off the stage by a former president. But she knew that he was in bad shape, but she stood by, along with the rest of them, and committed the sin of omission. So now she wants to say, I have these policies, but I could have let him around by the nose, you know. He didn't know what was going on, and I could have shoved these policies in front of him, got him to sign something. But now she's acting like she didn't know.
All right.
He was in such bad shape. But anyway, in closing, gentlemen, I saw where she was in San Francisco this weekend and got all the big donors to drop some money in her pot. And I'm just wondering if she got Willie Brown to drop something in her pot. Oh, yeah, he's already dropped something in her pot. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Straight to the gutter with you guys. Always in thinking in the gutter.
Oh, no, you're the first one to think it.
Nah. Yeah, probably so, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Kid. Yeah, you're probably right there.
Hey, you want to check out some of the faithful who really believe in Harris?
I know there are some because I saw some, I guess, YouTube people walking around talking to folks yesterday. And
Well, look at your screen at this woman.
Oh, good Lord, Joey.
Now, that is a handsome woman. Looks like my brother.
I mean, not to be, cocky, but I'm optimistic.
I've always been a supporter of. She's a woman, and she's black.
She's a woman! She's a woman! She's a woman! She has a vagina! Vote for her!
Birds of a feather, I guess, flocked it.
Were those from the San Francisco?
No, this is Arizona.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
And she'll be the first president candidate that I and like I said, I'm all about equal access and equal women health choice.
We're gonna win.
Oh, God. We aren't going to win anything.
Can we put an air tracker on her and then go see her again in a couple months? Just to see how devastated she's going to look.
Goodness.
So she might be one of the ones that are going to move, Joey. They're going to leave the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all about helping them pack their bags and get the heck out.
Well, I doubt they'll leave.
Darn it.
It's just, I mean, this is what you get, these man-on-the-street interviews. Like, why did you come to a Kamala Harris rally?
Yeah, I've seen several of those this weekend.
Well, there was another one that was making the rounds. Hopefully they don't start cursing like potty mouths on this. But this was a Harris rally attendee. Let me put that up full screen here. How would you describe these women, Eddie?
Vegas Strip, walking down the
dudes?
Vegas Strip, what you would see.
Yeah, one is is her mouth like pierced shut?
What it looks like. It appears
She's got
to
a
be.
lot of hardware right on the front of her
She
face.
ain't making it through a metal detector.
Yeah, like how many nose rings does she have? I don't know. Let's see what they got to say, why they're supporting Harris.
Why are y'all voting for Kamala Harris?
I don't want to lose my rights. Like, I'm a trans man and I'm gay and I have been pregnant and I've had an abortion before and I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid of not being.
That's a whole lot of boxes to check right there. I don't even know if all those things are doable with one person.
No, she's born a woman, identifies now as a man, and she got pregnant and had an abortion. What's so difficult to understand?
Got to carry
being
the
able
woman.
to be myself anymore because from what I've heard, Trump's America doesn't want me to look like this. So that's why I'm here today and that's why I'm voting blue.
What about you?
I've also been pregnant and had an abortion before. I was a minor and it would have been dangerous for me to properly, it would have been dangerous for me to carry a baby with personal reasons and everything. I also, I'm very, alternative, and I feel like if Trump were to win, I wouldn't be able to express myself through my looks and everything, and wouldn't be able to have the piercings or the dyed hair or the tattoos that I want.
Yeah, because there was, all voting reasons are stupid. Because every reason's valid. Those young women's, or the young woman and the trans man's opinions are just as valid as your well-researched opinions when it comes to the voting booth. Get that through your skull. But I'm sure, I can't express, there weren't any goths during Reagan.
Dude.
Give me a break.
Plus those two, I guarantee you, neither one of them are going to find their way to the voting booth.
Oh.
They're too stupid to find that. I ain't worried about people like that.
It's I honestly don't care how you look. If you want it, this is what drives me nuts. It's you want to do freaky deaky stuff, go ahead and be confident about it.
Yeah.
But you're not confident about it. So you do the freaky deaky stuff and then you act like an insecure twerp anytime somebody's like, what are you doing? Why don't you have a quick comeback?
I mean, people like her, I see her walking down the street. I just keep going. I don't have a problem. I don't stop and tell them I'm going to take away their rights or anything like that. Give a crap.
But, they had abortion, so they got to go with Kamala. Yep. Oh, and real quick, because we were talking about it with Ivan Ranklin, the whole COVID era.
Yeah.
It's just really, the further away we get from that, it just seems saner and saner what went down. Like, he is Tony Fauci. If you thought he was dead, he ain't dead yet.
I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my third infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
So,
wait, I got to hear that again.
I got infected about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, he got infected.
It was my third infection.
His third infection.
And I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
So his own BS doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's got some excuse up his backside.
Only because we let him get away with it.
Like, this is it's absurd. Everything's nuts. Everything's stupid.
Did a little more tar and feather and it simplify things.
I don't know about that. We should probably just go shopping and watch football.
I'm ready for the football.
You want to go shopping?
Not really, unless we're shopping for wings or something.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I'm down with that.
dude stuff.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Back to the steak store.
All right, we could just stuff our faces, take all the drugs, and especially adult ones your doctor prescribes you so you can relax. Relax! And then, you just medicate yourself, you stuff your face, and you watch silly entertainment. And life will be all right, right?
That's what they want you to do, I think, Joey.
That's a meaningful life right there. That's what a man does.
That's what they want us to do.
Don't be toxic. Doug Inhofe won't approve.
I'm certainly seeking his approval.
Goodness gracious. How about this? Let's go to line one.
All right.
You're on there. Who's this?
This is Boomer T.
Hey, Boomer T.
Well, Joey, you need to come on up to the lake and enjoy it. But look, I want you to play that clip back, and I want you to listen to what that girl says at the end of it. She talks about she won't be able to have any tattoos and ink.
Right, yeah, and she's got a lot of piercings and stuff. A lot of gear.
I didn't understand that part because I think the craziest thing now is tattoo your body like a freak. I mean, look at Jellyhead or Jelly Roll. I mean, and then if you listen to the other girl, she tells her how she's feeling, what she feels. That's the whole damn problem right now. You get these people that don't even know what the heck they're talking about, and they listen to ignorant people. And then the girls go, well, she's depressed. Look, be yourself, folks. But you want to know something really crazy there, y'all guys?
What's that?
Is whoever the inbred son of a gun that designed the daggum 231 coming through, we talk.
Amen. Amen.
I promise you, and sir, if you're out there, you are got to be the most ignorant, inbred person I've ever seen. I cannot get in a Regions Bank, but I write all. Oh my God, people, please be careful.
It's ridiculous, Boomer T.
I had to come to town today. I hate leaving Titus. Oh, I hate leaving Titus. I had to go to town. I have a headache. Now I've got to go home and medicate. What am I going to do? Oh, my God. Hey, guys, look here, man. This thing right here is going to be getting worse and worse and worse. I ran across several. I'm going to tell you right now, yes, there is a transgender young fella. He's probably, I'm saying 12 years old. And, yes, he does wear a girl's bikini. And he does come up here to the lake. And, yes, this will be going on now. This will be the third summer that this young fella, or I say the young fella, because what he really is, he has a penis. And his mother and father, both of them need to have their ass whipped. But they come up there, and they let him parade around in his little bikini. And just, people, I don't care what you want to do, but stop putting it in my damn face. Stop it. Be yourself, but leave me alone and stop putting stuff on our faces, people. That's all I want to say. And Eddie, I saw your buddy down there. He was fishing. I saw the big old fish he caught. Hey, guys, if you need a place down the lake, call Eddie. Hey, you gotta go, folks. I'm getting ready to, go home and do some things. But, guys, I love this show. But, God almighty, we talking.
Yeah.
Straighten it out, Eddie. Straighten it out, brother. I love y'all. Peace. God bless America. And remember one thing. You can have all the ink you want. Trump don't give a dang. Peace
Amen.
out.
What?
Yeah, they have really, they put turning lanes, concrete barriers in Wetumpka. It's awful.
Yeah,
They
but-
took a great 231 that you could go any which way you wanted to. You could turn in any business you wanted to, and they have jacked it up.
Problem is, these broads voting for Kamala understand voodoo. So you're going to be trying to rest your head on the pillow next
Yeah.
to, your dog. Because I know she does that.
Yeah, she does.
And instead of actually counting sheep and going to sleep, you're just going to hear,
We're gonna win. We're gonna win. I mean, not to be, cocky, but I'm.
It sounds like a woo-woo siren.
yeah.
Yeah.
Woo-woo indeed. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, fellas, it's Harris. How y'all doing?
All right, Harris. How you doing?
Good, good. Hey, in response to Red Sox talking about Caroline not doing any campaigning or advertising, look, she doesn't need to worry about Montgomery. She needs to be in Mobile, Atmore, Monroeville, Evergreen, Greensville, Eburn, Troy. That's where she needs to be, and I think that's exactly what she's doing.
Yep. Yeah, and I look forward to talking to her on Wednesday, but I'm under the same idea as you. Like, it's all going to be these new counties in this new district, and we'll see.
Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Better, bud.
272-9228. Hey, this part of the program?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and there at Montgomery Men's Health, they can help you men out. Guys, you should make it an annual routine to do a men's health checkup. And what does that mean? Get a testosterone score.
Right.
And also, it's good, usually when you get that testosterone score, you'll get a PSA check.
Correct.
It's a great marker for prostate health. At least that's how they do it there at Montgomery Men's Health. When you get a testosterone score, you're also going to get a PSA score. And, of course, they can help you understand why you might be feeling tired all the livelong day, physically and mentally. You're lacking energy and drive, including a decrease in your sex drive. You're just never in the mood. All these things very well could be a sign of low testosterone. And so why not have Montgomery Men's Health do a test? And if you do have low T, they have, treatments that can truly change lives. That consultation and test, only $99. And the treatments, after taking them, men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. So call them up right now, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. And, they're discreet. They know what they're doing. But be sure to tell them also that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Sweetheart?
Yeah?
Well, I've been thinking, I'm tired of this house.
What? You want to move?
Yeah, but we'd have to do some updating, to get top dollar.
Updating really does make a lot of sense, especially when you're talking about lighting. That's where Crosby Electric comes in. They'll help you choose a stunning pendant fixture over your bathroom sink, dramatic flush mount lighting over your kitchen island, maybe some LED panels to backlight your countertops. Energy-saving LED lighting has really come down in price. Or how about a new ceiling fan that moves air more efficiently than fans built only 10 years ago? The bottom line, updating your lighting almost always delivers a full return on your investment.
Well, sweetheart, the house looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Guess I'll put out the for sale sign.
Wait.
What?
I don't wanna move.
Find out how to turn your house into the home you'll never want to leave. Visit crosbyelectric.com or call 272-2085.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, no big surprises in our forecast. Mostly sunny, hot, dry days continue. High today and tomorrow in the upper 90s. The humidity is down just a bit today, but we're back to triple-digit heat indices by tomorrow and Wednesday. And I think by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, some widely scattered random storms will start to pop up in the afternoon and evening hours with highs in the mid-90s. But rain chances not great this week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, last Friday, the show flew by last Friday.
Sure did.
But we were unable to mention, we failed to mention, that it was the 10-year anniversary of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
How did we miss that?
I had it on the list, we just didn't. We talked about other things. But, they were marching.
Yeah.
People were marching, family members of Michael Brown.
Okay.
And later that night, last Friday, a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri is now fighting for his life after being assaulted during protests marking the 10th anniversary of the fatal shooting of Michael Brown. The incident took place Friday night outside the Ferguson Police Department after a demonstration commemorating Brown's death turned destructive.
Okay.
It's all according to Police Chief Troy Doyle. Officer Travis Brown and other officers began attempting to make arrests in response to protesters damaging a fence outside a police station, Chief Doyle said. A protester charged Officer Brown when he attempted to make an arrest, causing him to fall and hit his head and leaving him with a severe brain injury, the chief added. Protesters hurt 2 additional officers, leaving one with an ankle injury and another with abrasions. Authorities said the department has completely reformed since Michael Brown's killing in 2014, and the assault on officers Friday night was a senseless act of rioting. Here's the chief there in Ferguson, Troy Doyle, commenting, going off script a little bit here.
Team got out there and was assaulted by a number of the protesters that were out there on the scene. As a result, one of my police officers suffered a severe brain injury. He is at an area hospital right now, fighting for his life. And I'm gonna break away a little bit
He's
from
tearing up, man.
what I was planning to talk about. This police department, this Ferguson Police Department, since 2014, has been a punching bag for this community. The police department back in 2014, we don't even have them officers here anymore. So what are you protesting? These officers not even here no more. Everything that the activist community has advocated for, as far as body-worn cameras, implicit bias training, crisis intervention training, all this stuff, we have done all of this. What are we protesting? What is it? We even changed the uniforms at this police department because people said that the old uniforms triggered people. What are we doing? 10 years later, I got an officer fighting for his life. It's enough, and I'm done with it. We're not doing it here in Ferguson. Our community is united behind us. Our community is fed up. We want to heal. Our community want to heal. We want people to peacefully protest, but we damn sure ain't gonna allow you to destroy this city, and we ain't gonna allow you to hurt none of these police officers.
It's just sad.
I'm glad he stepped up, though.
No, what he said was fantastic, but it's just
for some
sad
people,
that it needed to be said anyway.
But some people, they always want anarchy. They want to do nothing but complain.
Yeah, not the good kind either.
No, not the fun kind. But I hate bringing it up, but just like at Hyundai, they used to give away free steak and lobster. People still complained.
Really?
Yep.
About the steak and lobster?
Yep.
What do you mean?
Too dry, too small. Could have been bigger. I got to go back to work. I'm allergic to lobster. Although a friend of mine, funny story. You know, some people are very addicted or very allergic to shellfish.
Sure.
Like their shellfish can't even touch their steak.
Right.
So my buddy Paul made sure he told everyone in the world that.
Mm-hmm.
And they still somehow had his lobster touch his steak. So about an hour after eating, you look over at Paul and he's swelling up. And he's like, I think I got to go to the hospital.
He's starting to look like a lobster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Throat started swelling up. So he had a legit complaint. Okay, he had one. But everybody else, come on, it's steak and lobster.
Right. It's pretty good.
Then they went to steak and shrimp because some people didn't like lobster. I mean, my point is people will complain.
Yes.
And so I'm glad he finally has made a stand and said, at this point, you're just complaining to complain and we're tired of it.
Yeah. And now a man has a brain injury and he's going to be brain damaged for the rest of his life if he survives.
Right. Over what? Over what?
Right. Over what? Yeah, that just, when you see folks go off script, I just thought that was a poignant moment to be shared. Because you would think the 10-year anniversary would be a time for, say, people, Michael Brown's family, folks who get together and remember the day and commiserate together. But into the wee hours of the night, no, we got to destroy some stuff.
And even he said, look at us. We're not even the same department. We're not the same officers. We don't even have the same uniforms anymore.
Right.
So if anything, they should have been celebrating how far they've come in that time.
Well, let's go from that to this. This is from Ferguson to Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, this is actually a radio station in Chicago, black news radio station, WVON 1690. And they had on the Chicago Teachers Union president, Stacey Davis Gates.
Man, that lady.
Joining, this is the largest black news radio station in Chicago. The host asked her to address critics of the union who pointed to low reading and math scores in Chicago's public schools. Davis Gates responded by saying standardized testing is a tool of white supremacy designed to fail black students. Listeners were not pleased with that answer, so let's listen to this. I haven't listened to this.
An opportunity to address some of the critics of the negotiating and some of the critics, frankly, of CTU. When you hear individuals cite the reading levels and the math levels of the students, and their visceral reflexive response is to say, how is more money going to fix that? Don't they have enough money? Look at what these students are achieving now, because we do have so many students that are not reading at grade level, so many students not at math level. What do you say to that constituency that feels like
it's a good question.
CTU is already well taken care of and probably gets more than they need?
When people talk about achievement as a classroom teacher, I know that it is not linear. And the way in which, we think about learning and think about achievement is really and truly based on testing, which at best is junk science rooted in white supremacy. Now, if you have another hour, I can get into why standardized tests are born out of the eugenics movement. And the eugenics movement has always sought to see black people as inferior to those that are non-black. So when people talk to me about testing alone, I have to trouble the waters and challenge that, because you can't test black children with an instrument that was born to prove their inferiority. It just can't do that.
Madam President, we want to read to you some commentary from our Facebook Live we've shared for those that want to chime in on what we're talking about. And Mike had something to say.
Yeah, Mike said it's a fact that the black community has the ability to produce 70% of its black boys reading at third grade, at a third grade level under any test they give us. Stop making excuses. Again, there is definitely at least a plurality of people, again, that have that mindset. And is that line of questioning even appropriate for the CTU president, or is it a better question for the individuals that make the curriculum in CPS?
Both.
Tiba, listen, we are dealing with generations of people who have taken standardized tests. And what black people tend to do in the face of white supremacy is prove that we're not inferior. What if you cannot prove on an instrument set up to make you inferior that you're not? That's what some of this is about, releasing our people from a standard that is created for the failure. I'm not going to have a conversation about standardized testing being a fair measurement for Black people because I know it is not. That's like talking to Donald Trump about something and believing that he's going to somehow tell the truth about something. It's just not going to happen.
We want to take a call real quick before we go to break. Dr. Rosita, thank you for calling.
This is amazing.
I want to say, as a parent, standardized testing, we're not ready to move beyond that right now. And I don't want to hear about it not being, how can we say that it's a racist tool, because it might be. But let me say this to you. I've passed every standardized test, and I want my children to be able to do it. Even though I'm Black, that does not mean I cannot achieve on standardized testing. And our children need to do that so that they can be competitive. Our focus needs to be on the literacy gap that Black children have that's not being addressed.
Thank you, Dr. Rosita. We appreciate that. We're on our last break, Madam President.
Wow. That's the president of the Chicago's Teachers Union.
Well, you see why they are struggling with what they're struggling. It's not a nice way to put it. She doesn't want kids to succeed. Has no desire. She wants ignorant parents and she wants ignorant kids.
It's also fascinating, too, about the policies progressives still love. Like, you do know the early progressive era was incredibly racist. You're talking like the turn of the 20th century?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there are things like minimum wage laws. Well, we have to have it. Well, you know that's rooted in white supremacy. And the idea that a standard that you can get as objective as possible, that's what a standardized test is trying to do, is somehow a tool of white supremacy. Okay. Keep failing then.
Well,
and telling yourself that. How's that actually going to build generational wealth? How's that going to make your family better off? How does that mentality solve anything other than keeping you a position of having an inferiority complex? As opposed to saying, I'm a human being, damn it. I can achieve whatever I set my mind to in this world.
Right.
It's just more excuses from these rent-seeking leeches that get paid handsomely, upper middle class salaries to do a crappy job for kids.
Yep.
While they do more than just educate, we now have to indoctrinate people into the system to think a certain way. No, your failures, little Timmy, aren't your fault. It's just the world. You were born with the wrong fingerprints. Just so give us more money and power and we'll fix it somehow, even though we're not fixing it.
Getting worse.
That's just, no wonder people are failing if that mentality.
Well, what's wrong
and
with
I
having
love hearing the pushback because I know there are plenty of people who do succeed. It's just when these folks are backed into a corner,
Right,
especially these
the
teachers
answers.
unions officials, like everything's everybody else's fault.
Yep.
You just didn't give us enough money and power. That seems to be the answer to everything. If there are screw-ups, if there are failures, you just didn't, okay, give us more money and power.
What's wrong with having a standard anyway? That's half the world's problems right now.
Yep,
Taking
it
all of our
is.
standards and throwing them out. For what? In exchange for what? It ain't getting no better.
Yeah, and it's just common sense. Like, say, Eddie, we're going into battle, and we've got spears and swords. Would you rather have iron-plated, like, armor or, like, wicker armor?
I'll do it iron-plated. I'll play your game.
Oh, you would rather have wicker? So
If I'm going into battle with you, hurry up, put me out of my misery. Give me the wicker.
So you have a death wish. But you know what I'm
I'm going into battle with you. Yes, I know exactly. And of course, I would. Who wouldn't?
Right. You would rather have, like, a modern AR-15 than a musket from the Revolutionary
But
War.
of course.
Right. It's like some things are better than others.
Yes.
Some people on an individual basis are better than others at all sorts of things.
Why
In
is that-
fact, that's what allows for opportunity to happen in this world.
Right.
That
Why
there
is
are a
that so
lot of people
bad?
better than me able to do things that I benefit from. Even if they are more handsomely rewarded for it. It still benefits me.
And
God,
doesn't it
it's
just
just such
encourage
a
you?
defeatist mentality.
Doesn't it just encourage you? If you and I are doing the same thing,
Yeah,
and I'm doing a little better and making more money,
depends on the person.
it
Like
make
if
you
you're
just-
doing better than me, yeah, I don't like it.
but
I'm
it
a
challenges
little
you.
green
Doesn't that
with-
challenge?
No, it doesn't challenge.
Makes it shuts you down.
No, it shuts me down. It makes me want to just go crawl into a hole and die. In fact, I want to crawl back inside Mama's womb.
No,
That's why I'm
Joe.
voting Mama lot. I want to climb back inside there. Just go to sleep. Take a long nap because Eddie's doing better than me.
That's the problem, Joey. You need to suck it up and do better.
Stop defying the conventions that everybody's laying out. You were meant to just always be poor, Eddie. How dare you climb up and succeed and work hard and make smart choices on top of that?
Well, that's a big reason they don't like J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance took himself up, did this for himself, did not depend on the government. He took advantage of his GI Bill. But your Kamala and your white toast guy, whoever that guy is, Walls, they want the government to have told you when you could have done that. Joey, you can be a talk radio guy.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to allow that. But only allowing that because we're allowing you to do that. If you want to do it on your own, well, we're not down with that program.
Right. Sacrificing individuals for the group identity.
No.
Doesn't work out very well. What's the old Ayn Rand line that the first man who discovered fire was probably burned at the stake for discovering it and giving it to his brother?
But of course.
That's how it usually works out. How about this? Let's hit a quick break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. They can help everyone
Rates are dropping, Joey.
who is looking to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're new to the process, they can walk you through that home buying process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. There are things like inspections and appraisals, right? And yeah, there's a few steps you might not be aware of.
Yeah, but they're aware of every one of them.
And they're aware of what's going on with the latest VA home loan programs.
That's right.
A lot of folks have this myth in their minds of the VA takes forever with the home. That
It's not the
complicated.
case.
No, they can do a turnaround on a VA home loan or refinance in what, like 14 days?
Yep.
They have one of the fastest turnaround times
Yes,
for
they
all
do.
types of mortgages. Alabama Home Mortgage folks, they can really help you out. And, speaking of refinance deals, whether you're stuck under a mountain of credit card debt or you're just looking to rearrange your finances, they can help you do that as well. So check them out today. You can always call Kim and Madeline at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
Hi, I'm Doug Singleton, Chairman of the Montgomery County Commission and a proud member of the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery. The Kiwanis Club of Montgomery raised hundreds of thousands of dollars through the fair to support charities that benefit children in the river region. We invite you to join us on Thursday, October the 3rd for a special event, Taste of the Fair. For just $30, you can enjoy delicious samples from our food vendors and experience the fantastic fair food that we'll be serving this year. This year, all proceeds from Taste of the Fair will go towards providing a new turf for the Miracle League of Montgomery Field. The Miracle League offers children with disabilities a chance to experience the joy of playing baseball regardless of their abilities. Join us on October the 3rd from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and get a sneak peek at the amazing fair food before the fair officially opens. Tickets are $30 and can be purchased at alnationalfair.org or at the fair office at Garrett Coliseum. Plus, with your ticket, you'll receive a $20 value ticket to return any day to the fair from October the 4th to October the 14th. Only a limited number of tickets will be sold, so get yours soon.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368.
an equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones. Talk to Flower Child. Hey, Flower Child.
Hey, Joey.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I listen a lot, but stay in and out kind of thing. I just comment with Eddie a lot. So this teacher's theory is that the standardized tests are biased toward white kids, right?
Yes, it was created as a tool of white supremacy for white people to show how superior they were.
Well, why doesn't she create a standardized test for black supremacy? Okay? Why didn't she come up with a test that skewed more towards black children? And when she administrates it to the black children and to the white children, when the black children succeed and the white children fail, then I'll believe her hypotheses. Up until then, no.
Yeah. It's just absurd.
It is. I sent Eddie this article because I heard a blurb of it on the news this weekend. Did you see about how many third graders are being held back because of that reading thing?
1,800, is that right?
Good. It should have been more in past years.
That was my question. I wish Craig Monger would interview Superintendent Mackey and give us facts and figures and counties, etc. The article said that 4,800 students were tested and they should have been held back, is what I read. Okay.
Wow.
But then they were given an opportunity this summer to go to summer school, and miraculously, 3,000 of them can now be passed.
Wonder what happened in those few months. Yeah.
Huh?
A lot of things happen in summer school.
Yeah. I mean,
Somebody
I
getting
really.
pregnant? That's Eddie's experience, getting somebody pregnant behind the gym.
Joey. I was in 7th grade. I
got
nobody pregnant.
Not like you didn't want to. You know, I know you. Sorry, Flower Child.
Eddie, you're turning red.
Yeah, I bet I am. Yeah.
Anyway, does anybody believe that?
No.
You see, what Flower Child wants to know is how many third graders are there total in the state of Alabama? Okay.
Mm-hmm. What percentage?
What counties did these 4,800 fail? Right? Did they fail in certain schools? Right? That's where your problem is. Okay.
Yes.
And that's what you need to address.
Agreed.
Now, is it the students? Is it the parents? Is it the teachers? What is it? You know, I mean, that's the problem. Instead of calling it racist, when you can identify a trend in a negative way, then go after it.
Well, I just see red whenever these issues come up because I'm like, this is.
Well, they're doing the children no justice by passing them. And honestly, what it does is it adds a debt to you, me, and Flower Child, and everyone else, because these kids, assuming that they never, fix their reading deficiency, they're gonna be welfare kids. They're gonna go right from dropping out of school into welfare, and that puts it on us.
And on to prison.
Yeah, that puts it on us.
So, but I mean, if I was a parent, I would want to identify high risk schools. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
I mean, that would be a normal parent reaction.
I just thought of, it's a quote from one of my muses, one of my influences. Mencken says, quote, this probably is from the 1920s. The most erroneous assumption is to the effect that the aim of public education is to fill the young of the species with knowledge and awaken their intelligence, and so make them fit to discharge the duties of citizenship in an enlightened and independent manner. But nothing could be further from the truth. The aim of public education is not to spread enlightenment at all. It is simply to reduce as many individuals as possible to the same safe level, to breed and train a standardized citizenry, to put down dissent and originality. That is its aim in the United States, whatever the pretensions of politicians, pedagogues, and other such mountebanks. And that is its aim everywhere else. And so, we maybe need to make the schools a little more better or something like that. But I often look at these and go, no, your institutions, I'm not surprised this is where they are now, 80, 90 years in the future with bureaucracy taking over. I'm not surprised at all.
Mm-hmm. Just mediocrity is all
That's it. That's exactly all they want.
And then that's why they put up such a big fuss about having school choice, because how dare you break out of the mold that you've been cast in for hundreds of years, according to them. It's maddening to me.
Well,
I'm here.
Appreciate the call, Flower Child.
Thank you, Flower Child.
Hey, Kathy, I got to hit my top of the hour break. Can you hold on through the top of the hour?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. We'll hit the break. Be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. On the battlefront, Ukraine's top military commander says his forces now control 386 square miles of Russia's neighboring Kursk region. Russian forces are still scrambling to respond to the surprise Ukrainian attack that came almost after a week of fierce fighting. The commander confirmed for the first time that the Ukrainian military is operating inside the Kursk region and praised the country's soldiers and commanders. Crews have begun tearing down a Texas church where a gunman killed 26 worshipers in 2017. The Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs is being demolished. That's after some families had sought to preserve the scene of the deadliest church shooting in U.S. history. The Dow dropping 180 points, but the NASDAQ is ahead 28. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, no big surprises in our forecast. Mostly sunny, hot, dry days continue. High today and tomorrow in the upper 90s. The humidity is down just a bit today, but we're back to triple-digit heat indices by tomorrow and Wednesday. And I think by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, some widely scattered random storms will start to pop up in the afternoon and evening hours with highs in the mid-90s. But rain chances not great this week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
The first of its kind public charter school has opened its doors this Monday in the city of Mobile. The Floretta P. Carson Visual and Performing Arts Academy was approved by the Alabama Public Charter School Commission back in 2023. The school was then created to teach students in grades 6th through 12th grade to prepare them for a career in the arts. The superintendent of the new charter school is Dr. Krista Williams, and she spoke to Fox 10 TV News.
They have over 15 arts conservatories that they can engage in within the School of Music, the School of Dance, the School of Visual Arts, as well as the School of Theater.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
A shooting in Tuscumbia on Sunday night has left a 17-year-old male injured. The shooting occurred amongst a group of teenagers after a disagreement occurred and a gun was fired into the air. The injured teenager was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment of the bullet grazing. Tuscumbia police are investigating and have not made any arrests at this time. A state lawmaker has pre-filed a bill for 2025 that deals with vaccines and parental consent. State Representative Chip Brown is reoffering HB 2, which requires non-emancipated minors to obtain the parental consent before vaccination can occur. Brown says his bill is in response to the push for COVID-19 vaccines without proper studies on the long-term effects. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Epicure and Jack's Tavern, a family-owned and operated treasure, invites you to break the chains and eat local. With decades of tradition, they bring you meals prepared with locally sourced ingredients. Because here, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family.
Experience the best house-aged and hand-cut steaks in the area at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Each steak is a masterpiece, aged and cut in-house to ensure the highest quality. Join them for a steak that will elevate your dining experience.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. As we're calling this thing online, Joey Clark Live. I'm Joey. He's Eddie.
What's up, Joey?
A Panama shirt.
Yeah.
Panama.
My best friend Pam got this for me when she was did the canal.
Pam in
yeah.
Panama.
Yeah. In fact, she's going on another world tour in like a week.
Man.
She stays on the
She's
go,
living
man.
life, man.
Yeah, she was in Scotland a couple weeks ago. I forget where she's going now.
Now let's go to Kathy, who's been very patient. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, it's Khaki again, like the pants.
I'm sorry, Khaki.
Eddie, you need to stop
okay.
when there's
That's okay,
resistance with the Q-tip.
That's when it starts to feel good.
Listen, guys, y'all got me a bit fired up on this. I appreciate you showing the two videos. And if you may, let me get a little righteously indignant for a moment.
Sure.
The first one shows me the cultural division that the radical black continue to promote. And as Eddie said so eloquently, instead of recognizing the progress and the impact that they made advocating for the police change, and they did it. So I don't know what they want other than they did something and they failed to recognize a police chief that is black, and I thought that was fantastic. Then you segued into the teachers union. Now you hit a button with me because I do not believe in unions. I don't want somebody to speak for me and hold my opinion as an individual. I especially don't want to pay you to do it. So this woman coming out and talking about white supremacy and the government publishing these percentages is actually another form of segregation, because publishing these percentages with the black title next to it puts a moniker on a race that automatically deflates their value. So don't look at me. The government published that. Now let's take it a step further. School is not daycare. Those teachers do see your children more in an hour in a day light time than you will all year long. So they're imperative in your child's life. The parent is failing in this institution. Your children, 70% your child's not up to the grade level of reading. Guess what? Let them read to you at night. Sit down with your children. Look at what they're doing. Get them off the Xbox. Sell it. Get them off the phones. Read. It's linear thinking. Even the woman, the union chick said it. It's a linear thinking is better than dots. Dots are TV and phones and computers. Get the children to the books. Get the parents' feet to the fire, because it's their responsibility to work with that teacher to raise a child that is our future, that's going to take care of us as old people and continue our legacy. And it starts at home. Don't blame anybody else. Look in the mirror. And as black people are doing now that are indignant about the way that they are not being recognized for trying to build the culture back up, you have the ones back over there with Ferguson that keep celebrating the victimization and just want the entitlement of being able to do that. I am thoroughly upset, and I do appreciate the moment, and I don't know why you did those two together, but it was brilliant. And just one last thing. You think there's a parallel Montgomery can find in all this? Y'all have a great day, and you did a great job opening something up. War Eagle, son, I hope you got a journalism degree while you were there. You
No, I got a BS
today,
in poli-sci. I appreciate it.
Man, y'all did it. This is what the radio station's for, and I appreciate the moment. Don't back down, okay?
Okay.
It's real.
Thank you, Khaki. This part of the program brought to you by Cohen's Electronics and Appliances.
That's right.
So you know, we normally talk to Michael on the phone, but he's out of town.
Yeah, he is out of town today.
So, you know, I'm a happy customer there at Cohen's.
Are you?
Yeah, I still love
You
that
got that big old
TV. Yeah, man. It was great. No, it's worked out. It's like it's already paid for now. It was a great way to get my credit score up, and it was a child wish fulfillment.
There you go.
Yeah, and I still love it. I use it every day.
That's good to hear.
And not just for entertainment. It is a pretty good workstation.
Probably a good idea for you to, got football season coming up, good idea to move on to a grill, Joey. Perhaps a Traeger
Yeah,
grill.
maybe, join my father
Yes,
and my
that's right.
brother. Yeah, they both have those Traegers. It's like cheating.
Join
Like
the fam.
But of course, they have all sorts of different types of grills there.
Oh, they do.
Electronics galore, sound system, TV, including projectors and outdoor TVs. Or maybe you're looking to fill out a kitchen or a laundry room with some great
can do that.
appliances. They can do all of that there at Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. So,
Oh, don't forget the massage chairs, Joey.
Oh, those
we don't talk enough about the massage chairs.
I completely agree. So you can always go to thinkcohens.com or give them a call at 277-8890. But I really encourage you to stop by. See it in person. Right here on the boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line one.
All right.
You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, Billy.
Hey, Billy. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, all right.
Good. I listened to your replay show. I guess it was yesterday that I was listening to it, and it was whatever day you replayed Judge Napolitano.
Yeah. That would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wanting to just say I just really disagree with some of the things he was saying, about Israel, about Netanyahu, and about how they were starving the Palestinians in Gaza. And I just don't believe any of that is true. And another thing I thought about was, war is a bad thing, and I got the impression that you're just against war for any kind of reason. I mean,
me personally?
Israel, yeah.
Joey. No, I'm not for aggressive wars, and I think defensive wars are. I'm not a pacifist, so yeah, fighting is necessary sometimes, and you should do it well, and you should do it quickly.
Well, how do you explain the Palestinians coming across and massacring over 1,200 innocent civilians? And it was brutal massacre too.
I agree.
I think that gives Israel every right. And Israel's not starving. They're sending food themselves, and Hamas is taking control of it, and they're the ones starving the Palestinians.
Well, on that particular, no, and I hear you, Billy. I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate you listening, including the replays. On that particular part of the world, that long conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, I welcome different voices because honestly, it's one of the most confusing things, people talking past each other. I tend to have, my gut tells me Israel's in the right here, but I have friends who, like Judge Knapp, who vehemently disagree with that. So I'm happy to talk to folks I disagree with.
Well, I believe as far as discerning right, I believe that really comes from the Holy Spirit. But anyway, there was something else, but I can't bring it to mind. But anyway, I appreciate you taking my call.
No problem. Call us back, Billy.
Appreciate it, Billy.
See you, buddy.
All right, you too.
272-9228. No, I try, as I told the judge, to look at all geopolitical events through a pragmatic, say, realist lens. And I don't like the idea of wider war, which I think is on the table as we're sitting here.
They're waiting for it right now.
Back up to a brick wall and suck a brick out.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this conflict that's been ongoing for a long time, I'm like, aren't there a lot of wars that happened? Like, so who won those things? And so it's part of the problem with war if you think you can, just kind of stop it and we'll go our separate ways. No, sometimes folks need to finish it.
No, but my biggest takeaway when, I don't remember which part of the Trump gang was over in Israel, but he quickly said they could solve this in a day. There are too many sides that don't want to.
Yeah, I was wondering what's taken so.
And I think it was, I can't think of who it was, but anyway, and he just laid it out there. He laid it out there. We could solve this in a day, but there are factors on both sides that just don't want it to be peaceful. And as long as you've got that on both sides, you'll never see resolve.
Yeah.
And it's different reasons. I'm sure there's economical, there's belief. One side is dead wrong and the other side is dead right. But again, when you've got both parties like that on both sides, then you're not going to ever find a peaceful existence.
And as far as the question of war itself, if in an ideal world, I think it's madness. I think it is mass murder. But I also have, perused enough history to know that there are a lot of folks who thought, we got rid of war. And it wasn't true. Because I don't think human nature, as much as things can improve on the margins for us with technology and wiser ethical decisions in life, for some reason, the ugly aspects of our nature keep coming back. And, folks like to say, look how much we improved. Look how much we improved over, the last century. And It's like, you kind of skipped over World War I and World War II.
Right.
Come on.
We had some improvements.
Oh, and that'll never happen again. Okay. Sure.
Never say never.
Right.
I have definitely learned that in this life.
How about this? We need to do a thing.
Yeah, we do.
So we're going to hit a break. We'll be right back, folks. More news and views after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
This is James Cole with Cole Plumbing, and I want to thank Blue Water Broadcasting. I have been advertising with them for several years, and they have brought me quality business. I really appreciate them.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, no big surprises in our forecast. Mostly sunny, hot, dry days continue. High today and tomorrow in the upper 90s. The humidity is down just a bit today, but we're back to triple-digit heat indices by tomorrow and Wednesday. And I think by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, some widely scattered random storms will start to pop up in the afternoon and evening hours with highs in the mid-90s. But rain chance is not great this week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
At Guardian Credit Union, we believe that banking should be personal, just like the relationships we build with members. Imagine a place where you're not just a credit score, but a valued part of our community. At Guardian, our dedicated team takes the time to listen, understand, and tailor financial solutions that fit your unique needs. From buying a car to saving for college and even starting a small business, we've got you covered. Come experience the Guardian difference and let's achieve your financial goals together. Guardian Credit Union, where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
As soon as I put this song on, Eddie, know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
It's a Lindsey Graham type of day.
It's Celine Dion, Joey.
Hey, there's a video clip I found. We should look it up. John Mayer got to host a Sirius XM show a few years back.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't care if y'all are going to make fun of me. Celine Dion, Because You Loved Me, has some of the greatest riffs ever put down. And you're like, okay, John Mayer.
No, he's probably right,
So
actually.
as it gets here, everybody knows that song. As she's starting doing runs in her vocals, he was copying note for note the runs she was doing on his guitar.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, those are some of the best riffs ever laid down to record. Like, they're nasty. They're so good. And it's like, how do you do that with your voice? Anyway, so don't be knocking Celine Dion.
She's
Next thing you'll be saying Barry Manilow isn't allowed.
Oh, I love me some Barry Manilow.
Of course
I
you
like the
do.
songs.
You're one of those,
Yeah, I am.
So did you watch J.D. Vance on the Sunday shows?
No, I watched a couple clips.
Yeah, we got a super cut
all the
here in a
great
second to see how Mr. Vance did. Senator Vance. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Billy again. I just remembered the other point I was wanting to make.
Okay. All right, what you got, Billy?
But, well, it's another thing that the judge said about nations that weren't a threat to the U.S., to us.
Right.
He said that Iran and China and a couple of other nations that he mentioned were not threats to us. And I think that's a really, really terrible thing to be broadcasting to everybody, because that they are a very serious threat to us. China's military is more powerful than ours. They have more advanced weapons. They outnumber us in the Navy.
But they have no way to project that power across the ocean.
Oh, certainly they do. What keeps
I don't
the
think they
United
have a
States-
pretty sound blue water Navy at the moment.
Oh, yes. Oh, well, you're mistaken. You hadn't been keeping up with what they've been doing over the past 20 years or 30 years. But anyway,
So because they've done endeavors in Africa and around India and all over South America, they now can project power like the
Okay.
U.S. Navy?
I don't want to argue with you about it. If the U.S. Navy can go over there, they can certainly come over here. But anyway, I got a grandson that's just joined the Army, and when he was going through basic training, all the drill instructors, he said all the drill instructors were telling, they're in the Army now, but they were training them that there's a real high probability that they would be going to war, and that the people they were going to be against will be better trained and better equipped than them. Now, why would a drill sergeant tell them that? Because it's true. And I just
That's
think
a crying shame.
people better wake up. People better wake up. We better get somebody in there that builds our defenses back up. We better. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Billy.
Breaking my one call a day rule, but we appreciate it, Billy. So, did you watch JD Vance? Just some clips?
Some clips.
So I got some more clips for you.
That's why I didn't watch them all. I knew I'd catch some here.
Thought you were making a joke.
No,
okay.
no, he did.
He was just being real sincere right there. That was creeping me out. Here is JD Vance. He was on Face the Nation, State of the Union on CNN, and the one with Jonathan Karl, ABC, which was the worst. Jonathan Karl, that little
Sunday?
whiny,
Right.
But here we go. This is sort of the supercut highlights of Vance doing the Sunday talk circuit.
The child tax credit, and we should expand the child tax credit. If you think about what the child tax
you and
credit
the Biden
does,
administration agree on the child care tax credit?
Okay, I got to stop there. Because just look at that vague file, and they're not literally having arguments, folks.
No, and that fake
they're
voice,
not.
too.
What they're doing is training you. If you're one who's more like, well, I know Margaret Brenner, and I watch her all the time.
Yeah.
Margaret is teaching you to mimic her. So when somebody brings up the child tax care credit, well, I'll just agree on this, and it's an emotional reaction that doesn't actually address the underlying issue. But let's keep going.
expand the child tax credit. If you think about what the child tax
you and
credit
the Biden
does,
administration agree on the child care tax credit?
well, we think it should be bigger. I think President Trump and I believe in an expanded child tax credit, but we also importantly want to actually get this thing done. The child tax credit has languished thanks to the Biden administration because Harris has failed to show fundamental leadership. Chuck Schumer's been unable to get it through the United States Senate, and we want more pro-family policy. Now,
There was a vote on, and you weren't there.
But Margaret,
it was a messaging bill. I'll give you that.
it was a show vote.
It wasn't
I'm with you on that.
If I had been there, it would have failed.
So
and
tell me
I was
specifically what you want to do to expand the child care tax credit, because it's like $2,000 per kid right now.
Well, I think one of the things you can do is make it bigger per child. I think we'd love to see it at a higher dollar value. And
Do you
again,
have
President
a
Trump and
number
I
in mind?
have proposed that. I mean, look, I'd love to see a child tax credit that's $5,000 per child, but you, of course, have to work with Congress to see how possible and viable that is.
Do you view China as a competitor or an adversary?
I think they're both, right? And I think that what we want to do here is build the kind of international order where we can check China. We don't want to go to war with China, but certainly they're an adversary. I mean, they know, for example, the Chinese know that they're manufacturing tons of fentanyl they're letting come into our country. Kamala Harris has done nothing about this. She should apply diplomatic and economic leverage over the Chinese to stop manufacturing this fentanyl, which then comes into the Mexican drug cartels, which they then ship into our country.
The United States has designated
this is
some
a
of these
this is a
and pressed the
scandal.
Chinese government.
Oh, we could do so much more. Fentanyl is
Sure.
not easy to manufacture, Margaret. And if Harris was applying proper leverage to the Chinese and to the Mexican drug cartels, we would not have so many people
Like
dying
what?
of fentanyl.
How-
No, what President Trump said, and I haven't watched the whole rally.
What he said was not true.
What President Trump said, John, is that Tim Walz has supported taking children from their parents if the parents don't consent to gender reassignment. That is crazy. And by the way, Tim Walz gets on his high horse about mind your own damn business. One way of minding your own damn business, John, is to not try to take my children away from me if I have different moral views than you.
The state to kidnap
they have
children to change.
How would you explain to you? Gender reassignment. Yes, he has proposed that, John. He absolutely has. Dana, I criticize.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like, yes, he signed that law. It's literally happened in places like California. But no, it's not. Don't believe your own lying eyes. Wait, just wait till it's like up yours and you have to just deal with it.
Yeah.
Why are you such a bitch?
Yeah. But
insane.
But I don't see interviews like this tough interviews held on only one side.
I agree.
The other ones seem to be a big ice cream social.
Literally in Biden's case.
Yeah.
His lying about his own record, okay? This is a guy who was captured on video saying, I carried a gun in war. He never went to war.
Right.
This is a guy who's been captured on video. As other people say, he's an Afghanistan veteran. He's a veteran of a war, nodding along in agreement instead of saying, no, I did serve my country and I did it honorably, but I never went to a war zone. I'm not criticizing Tim Walz's service. I'm criticizing the fact that he lied about his service for political gain, Dana. You've now asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that opened the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's middle facility for the office. You are interviewing me, Dana, because I respect the American people enough to sit down for an interview.
I appreciate that.
Kamala Harris has been the nominee for 3 weeks. She hasn't sat down for a real interview.
Believe me, we are asking. You're not going to get a disagreement there.
But the point is, Dana, you've got me for 15 minutes or however long you have me. We should be talking about public policies that matter. How are we going to lower inflation? How are we going to reduce the cost of food and housing? How are we going to close down that southern border? We've talked so little about that. We've talked a lot more about a sarcastic remark I made 3 years ago. I think we should talk about the issues that most Americans care. Kamala Harris is whatever she says she is. But I believe importantly that President Trump is right that she's a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing in front of one audience. She pretends to be something different in front of another audience. Look, Dana, she's not running a political campaign. She's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one audience and a different set of policies to another audience. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of. Dan, I criticize people for not having kids. I criticize people for being anti-child. And I do think that Kamala Harris has made some bizarre statements.
Again, there's that. Really? Just teaching people to, really?
She has said things like, it's reasonable not to have children over climate change. I think it's the exact opposite message we should be sending to our young families. I want to expand the child tax credit. I want to stop those surprise medical bills. I want to make housing more affordable so that if you have a young family, you can actually afford to put them in a home. And I think that it is unfortunate that so much of our public leadership has become anti-family.
Dana Bash, by the way, on the Tim Walz stuff, said, "Well, they corrected that. He misspoke.
He didn't misspoke. He lied. He lied several times, and he would keep lying now. But somebody put it in his face.
And they have some spokesman come out that nobody knows their name, say, "Well, the governor just misspoke." Well, after everybody called you on it, you're now saying that?
That's called being a liar. How long ago did he tell that lie? If he really misspoke, he would have corrected it a long time ago.
But really, are you going to be like this, Eddie?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Just so tired of the passive-aggressive crap. But that's the world we live in. And I actually thought J.D. Vance, because I watched all these just to, why not?
I'm so sorry.
And J.D. Vance held his own just fine. He's actually very effective, even in a setting like that that's a little hostile. I thought he got the points across that he wanted to get across, and he was able to jab back at the framing they were so much setting up across the networks.
It's awful.
Man, can you imagine how this was the only game in town not that long ago? Like, in order to actually get the message out, you had to go on the Sunday talk show.
But I swear, and I know I was young and much more ignorant, I swear they seem to treat both sides a little bit more fair then.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen the tapes.
Well, it depends. It depends on what type of Republican you're talking about.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. They could be more fair because they weren't threatened. If that makes any sense. They could sound a little more magnanimous because they weren't threatened by, number one, outside media, and number two, insurgent Republicans that aren't like, say, the Bushes. You can go back the way they treated Reagan. It's like it's been a shtick for a long time. And they're doing it now with the Walz stolen valor thing. The story isn't Tim Walz lied.
Right.
Here's his actual, guy served alongside him, calling him out on social media.
Oh, he was his commander.
His commanding officer blasted him. But that's not the story. The story is Republicans pounce. Stories, the Republicans continue to bring this up.
Because it's a story.
Wow. There was a local paper had a glowing profile of Walz in 2005, saying he served a tour of duty in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was deployed overseas with his National Guard Field Artillery Unit in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He then went on to say, it's not a hypothetical for me. I've done that. Tim Walz clearly states he went to Afghanistan during a debate.
Right.
Tim Walz thanked Nancy Pelosi at a press conference in 2007, and she responded, we appreciate his service on the battlefield. C-SPAN then identified Walz as an Afghanistan veteran. So the guy embellished and let a lot of other people believe.
He lied this whole time. Anytime they let it out and he didn't correct them, which for how many years has been that way, that's how long he's been a liar.
Again, the story's, that's just the Republicans saying that. Okay.
Not.
Here is John Kolb with Thomas Behrens. He wrote this, feeling a need to say this. I do not regret that Tim Walz retired early from the Minnesota Army National Guard, did not complete the Sergeant's Major Academy, broke his enlistment contract, or did not successfully complete any assignment as a Sergeant Major. Unwittingly, he got out of the way for better leadership. Thomas Behrens was the right leader at the right time. He sacrificed to answer the call, leaving his family business and farming partner brother to train, lead, and care for soldiers. He earned the privilege of being called Command Sergeant Major. Like a great leader, he ran toward and not away from the guns. I have no opinion of Mr. Walz's decision to leave service at the time he did. It was his right to retire early. I also have no criticism of his service as an E7 and E8, but by all accounts and on the record, he was a competent chief of firing battery, gunnery sergeant, and first sergeant. I cannot say the same of his service sitting, frocked, in the CSM chair. He did not earn the rank or successfully complete any assignment as an E9. It is an affront to the non-commissioned officer corps that he continues to glom onto the title. I can sit in the cockpit of an airplane. It does not make me a pilot.
Correct.
Similarly, when the demands of service and leadership at the highest level got real, he chose another path. That's his commanding officer.
Yeah. That sums it up pretty well.
But, again, folks, it's all BS and it's bad for you. We'll see.
Just keep pushing that point out there. To me, you just keep pushing that point.
Yeah.
Because I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. You got veterans on both sides, and that'll make just about everyone of them sick.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Now let's go to another clip.
All right.
This is Catherine Herridge, who we've liked on these airwaves a long time. But she did a special sit-down with whistleblowers targeted by border agency after exposing a federal DNA collection law was not followed for immigration violations. These Homeland Security whistleblowers claim American deaths were preventable. So here's the interview with these whistleblowers, Catherine Herridge.
Dead, and these deaths were preventable.
So this internal government memo
confirms that you were retaliated against because you spoke out against officials at Homeland Security who you believed were violating the law.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
The agency's goal is to bankrupt you, make you quit, die, kill yourselves, or basically, preferably, all of the above.
This law is on the books.
Yes.
Yes.
Is Homeland Security enforcing the DNA collection law?
Not fully.
As a result, are Americans less safe?
Yes. Yes.
No question in your mind.
None.
No.
Our team sat down with 3 government whistleblowers with 7 decades of law enforcement experience. They work at Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, a division of Homeland Security.
This internal government memo confirms that you were retaliated against because you spoke out against officials at Homeland Security who you believed were violating the law.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
The agency's intentional decade-long failure to implement a law designed to protect public safety. That's its conclusion. Customs and Border Protection is in violation of the federal law, and it's done knowingly.
Yes.
This internal Homeland Security directive, marked law enforcement sensitive, lays out the law. The border agency is required to collect DNA samples from non-United States persons in detention for immigration violations. Known as the DNA Fingerprint Act, it passed in 2005 with bipartisan support.
So there's no ambiguity. The language is clear.
It lays it out as a roadmap.
Have you ever seen a directive like this be ignored?
Never. No.
Okay, a lot of people are going to be confused. Homeland Security's job is to uphold the law and to keep Americans safe. But what you're alleging is that Homeland Security is not complying with the law.
That's correct.
Since 2021, under the Biden-Harris administration, Homeland Security's own data reports more than 10 million border encounters.
The internal mood is it's a dumpster fire.
It is a questioning of our mission versus what is actually being executed in the field.
Jones showed us what's supposed to happen in the field when DNA is collected from individuals detained and processed on immigration violations.
So, Catherine, this is the kit that's provided by the FBI to the Customs and Border Protection officers and agents. Place it inside your cheek.
Okay.
Rub inside your cheek 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
You're collecting saliva and skin cells or epithelial cells.
Okay.
I would then take it back from you, close it, place it inside the white envelope, which then gets sent to the FBI laboratory for processing.
So 30 seconds to collect, about $4 a pack.
Correct.
How long to process by the FBI?
Approximately 72 hours.
So it helps you identify suspects.
Absolutely. It gives an investigative lead to a law enforcement agency.
Has the system solved cold cases?
Yes, it's presumptively solved over 1,000 cases just from DNA collection.
Not only does it cut down on crime, it also cuts down on the time that it takes law enforcement to find this individual.
You've had Republican administrations, you've had Democratic administrations. Have either of them implemented the law?
No, the willful noncompliance, I believe, is inexplicable.
For many years, the Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection have failed to follow the law.
Recent data released by Republican Senator Chuck Grassley suggests nearly 70% of border encounters did not include DNA collection as required by law, and as many as 950,000 violent criminals were unidentified.
950,000 violent criminals went unidentified. That's nearly 1 million people.
That estimate was from 2010 through 2019. That was 5 million illegal entries at the time.
What you're saying to me is that 950,000 violent criminals is an old number. It's on the low end.
Yes, ma'am.
The continued prolonged willful failure to comply with the DNA Fingerprint Act has resulted in the harm that Americans are dead, and these deaths were preventable.
That's a very significant statement.
Again, this is directly from Catherine Herridge's Twitter page. Catherine Herridge reports. She's now doing independent reporting on her own, putting it out on X. It's great work.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, maybe you don't like the law, then go through the process to change it.
But they don't have to if you're a bureaucrat.
And they're sitting there, oh, nobody's above the law in this country. No,
All sorts of people are.
Usually the ones that are saying that are the ones
yeah,
Right.
breaking it.
Right.
They're right over it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just when it rains, it pours.
No, I'm glad all this coming. I want all this to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of all the secrets that are being held, that we didn't know this, we didn't know that. I want it all to come to the table. I think every American deserves to know this. And then maybe they'll make the right decision on who their leadership should be.
Now, there's a book that came out. Finish this segment with this. In 1987, by Alan Bloom, called The Closing of the American Mind. People often cite The Coddling of the American Mind. But this is, again, the one from 87 called The Closing of the American Mind. He was the first to say, Alan Bloom was, out loud, what everyone already knew. Again, this is from 1987, folks. We are ignorant shepherds living on a site where great civilizations once flourished. The shepherds play with the fragments that pop up to the surface, having no notion of the beautiful structures of which they were once a part. I think I've said similar things. Here's another quote from this book. How long ago was 87?
Year after I graduated.
Like 30 years, 40 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Fathers and mothers have lost the idea that the highest aspiration they might have for their children is for them to be wise, as priests, prophets, or philosophers are wise. Specialized competence and success are all they can imagine. How about this one? Again, from 1987, Alan Bloom. What poor substitutes for real diversity are the wild rainbows of dyed hair and other, external differences that tell the observer nothing about what is inside. Cultural relativism destroys both one's own and the good. The most striking fact about contemporary university students is that there is no longer any canon of books which forms their taste and imagination. In us, the contempt for the heroic is only an extension of the perversion of the democratic principle that denies greatness and wants everyone to feel comfortable in his skin without having to suffer unpleasant comparisons. Damn, this guy was a prophet. Nietzsche said the newspaper had replaced the prayer in the life of the modern bourgeois. Just say modern men and women. Meaning that the busy, the cheap, the ephemeral had usurped all that remained of the eternal in his daily life. Picture a 13-year-old boy sitting in the living room of his family home doing his math assignment while wearing his Walkman headphones or watching MTV. Again, we're talking the late 80s here. He enjoys the liberties hard won over centuries by the alliance of philosophic genius and political heroism, consecrated by the blood of martyrs. He is provided with comfort and leisure by the most productive economy ever known to mankind. Science has penetrated the secrets of nature in order to provide him with the marvelous, lifelike electronic sound and imagery production he is enjoying. And in what does progress culminate? A pubescent child whose body throbs with orgasmic rhythms, whose feelings are made articulate in hymns to the joys of onanism, masturbation, and the killing of parents, whose ambition is to win fame and wealth in imitating the drag queen, who make the music. In short, life is made into a nonstop, commercially prepackaged masturbational fantasy. Again, that's Alan Bloom in 1987. Wow. And when you start to see that there are folks that have been warning about this for a long, long time, that there's a crisis in education, that we're living through a time of relativism and nihilism, that we're losing our great literature, our great books, including the Bible itself. We're actually seeing the erosion of individualism, where autonomous individuals are actually undermined by conformist pressures. We're going through a crisis of authority. I don't think anything's inevitable. Dadgum, there's a lot of red flashing lights right in front of us right now. Let's hit this break. First, let's think a happy thought.
All right.
Because, well, it might not be that happy of a thought if you notice like a bunch of cockroaches.
Oh, no, Joey.
Or huge wasp's nests.
Seen one of them this weekend.
You're like, what happened to my yard? You're like, those are
red mounds
army
out there?
worms.
Oh, dude, I have seen some of the worst looking yards in Millbrook. That's what it was, army worms.
Right. They just will destroy you.
They will, quickly.
Well, you need to call it Pest Pro Services because they can take that ugly sight or that awful experience and get rid of it. Get rid of the problem completely. So it could be a specific job, like there's a particular infestation that's happened on your property, or it could be you're looking for an everyday pest control company that always has your back. That's Pest Pro Services. Exactly. Great local folks, skilled at what they do, and they're always giving back to the local community as well. So you can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990, or go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
The summer is winding down, but the sales at Larry Puckett Chevrolet are not. If you have a child headed off to college, and they need a good, reliable vehicle that will not have you worrying if they can make it to school, shop Larry Puckett. They have a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles that won't wear out your checkbook. New and pre-owned, Larry Puckett's inventory is as big as anyone's in the area. College football season is upon us, and if you don't trust your car to get you to the games, shop Larry Puckett. If you have an extra vehicle that you want to sell, take it to Larry Puckett and allow them to give you a cash offer. New vehicles are arriving daily. Call 285-9300. See if the one you're looking for is on the way. You'll love everything about Larry Puckett Chevrolet, the prices, the selection, the service, the financing, and you'll love your buying experience. For as long as I can remember, Larry Puckett's customers have been doing the talking. Larry Puckett Chevrolet on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. Before you stop by, you can shop them online at larrypuckett.com.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Wake it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Elevate your home with the timeless elegance of Cabinet Renovations, LLC. For over 40 years, Eddie Basham has been Montgomery's trusted name in kitchen and bathroom cabinet makeovers. From classic designs to modern updates, they craft beautiful cabinets and countertops to fit your style. And with up to 18 months interest-free financing, it's easier than ever to get started. Contact them today at 334-279-7152 or visit CabinetRenovationsLLC.com. Cabinet Renovations, LLC, where your home's new look begins.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
I'm just waiting on Eddie to get a phone call in. So I'm trying to perfect the Trump dance.
Yeah. I didn't think there was anyone that had less rhythm than Trump. Yeah. You're off just a little bit of a beat there. Catch the beat, Joey. Catch the beat.
Yeah, I made the damn song, so I can do what I want on it.
But of course you can.
Maybe you don't understand the syncopation.
That could be.
Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Save me, Ray, from this dope.
Oh, I wish I could. It's been a day. I've already been to Auburn and back, and my head's spinning. But let me tell you, we have got a whole bunch of material left off of this great big job I did in Auburn.
Oh.
It's a bunch of carpet and a whole bunch of glue-down LVP
Okay.
that I can give somebody one heck of a deal on while it lasts. I did this last year because I overbought. I always overbuy to make sure I'm not going to run short.
I thought your dad taught you better than that, Ray.
You are well, he is, yeah, he's not happy with me over having 8 rolls of carpet back here and 8 pallets of LVP that we need to sell. It is a glue down LVP, and the carpet is it's carpet. It is what it is.
Right.
But we can make you one heck of a deal. So if you're selling a house, if you're flipping a house, if you rentals, great for rentals, all of these things, call us at 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that free measurement. And next thing you know, you got a floor down. And save a bunch of money while you're at it.
There you go. Call them right now. Take advantage of this. 285-8117, and be sure to tell them, well, you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with Joey and that dope.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
See you, Ray.
Did we learn anything today?
Apparently I'm a dope.
Yeah, you are. I appreciated Mr. Ranklin. I did not know that Mike Rogers was being quiet on holding Top Brass accountable when it came to the whole
him
COVID
calling
era.
him out.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, I do appreciate.
I think we need a little bit more of that.
Though I am not surprised in that regard.
Yep. Hey, did you see? I forgot to bring it up. Trump is going to sue the DOJ.
About $100 million.
$100 million,
for the
baby.
Mar-a-Lago raid.
Yeah, $100 million.
And Trump's going to be on X tonight with Elon.
That's right. You know what time that's going to be, dude? I'm guessing
Like
7.
I think 7.
Okay.
And then he is back on X. Back posting all day today.
That's right. Today was his first day back.
Yeah,
or no,
he's-
second day back, right?
Yeah, well, he did break it when they post the mugshot.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll see where it goes.
Did you
Don't
see,
let the mainstream news get you down too much. I know it's like birds of a feather flock to vagina or something like that is what they want you to believe.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Kamala. I'm talking about a running mate. So, Mr. Mayonnaise Face, this guy is just gross. He's just gross.
You think he does the mayonnaise mask?
Yeah.
It's kind of nasty.
Yeah, and then he throws like jelly beans in there and eats it. Just gross.
That's gross.
Hey, kids, y'all want to go to the fair?
No.
No, not with you.
Not with you.
I'll go on my
Stranger
own.
danger. Stranger danger.
It's like the creepy clown and Billy Madison. It's like, no, go away. Hey, kids, it's me. Shut up, Tim. Mr. Walls. Well, we also learned that the border agency, Homeland Security, is not following their own damn rules.
Nope. Border's wide open.
Laws
buddy.
are just suggestions. Did you see that Biden said that, the KKK declined because they saw an ally when Trump was in office? Says the guy who literally gave the eulogy for Robert Byrd.
Right. I did see Secret Service scored another win over the weekend. They broke into someone's salon, duct taped their cameras, and opened up the bathroom to anyone who really felt like coming through with Secret Service. Forced the lady to close, took duct tape, picked her lock, came on in, used the place like it was their own. And then, on top of that, when they left, they didn't even lock the door.
Oh.
Right. So when I hear people talk about Secret Service, they got a long way to go, folks.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Well, and congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs on being number 1 in the first fake poll.
Yeah, it's first fake one.
Yeah, we'll get to a real one, see how the season goes. I'll be happy to respect the Dogs if they hold that spot.
Sure.
SEC is going to be quite competitive this year.
Very, very
I'm a
competitive.
little worried about Auburn. I really am.
Ain't no reason to worry about it. We're the same as we always do.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
going to lose out.
That's true. That's true. Still got to remain faithful. I did go to school there.
Yeah, that's right.
So on that note, War Eagle, and y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Beadle. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM.